head out. Top 8 still for Beastcoast, but they wanted a little bit more, and IG, they'll have the chance to do just that. Top 6 already, and a chance to face EG later on today.
That'll be a cool series. Not sure who to call, but the way they've been playing, IG certainly look as crisp and clean as Vici did yesterday. A couple missteps here and there, but it's want to happen when you're playing against a team as aggressive as Beastcoast. But yeah, they move on 2-0. Suddenly, after all the 2-1s, it's just been clean sweeps throughout the rest of the days.
Certainly, IG impressing here at the lower bracket, building up staves. They have just been getting stronger and stronger, as you said. Very similar to Vici Gaming, but how far can they actually go? Well, we'll have to see after the break. That'll be the panel's job. How far can IG go? We'll have to see. Break time first.
Mysterious shadow sightings all around the city. According to experts, the origin of these shadows is
polls before the game started was, can Beastcoast fight their way into a third game of the series? And they worked real hard. Like, they tried real hard, but in the end, the answer is no. IG takes it with a 2-0. I'm here with Lizard, Cinderin, and Grant. And gentlemen, that game, I must say, there were so many moments where I thought, oh, but Beastcoast, they can make a comeback. They were so close.
No, it felt like that. A lot of the high ground pushes, right? They had to commit a lot of buybacks, but they kept defending. I mean, you first two'd your middle and your carry, and you still put up this great fight against a 10-pick arc ward. I don't know, Beastcoast, they might be some of the best like team fighters in the world, but they're out now, so.
The way they make comebacks in every single game that I have watched, like maybe they didn't do it successfully in this series, right? They were struggling, but they were making comebacks in the mid game, and it's I don't know, it's such a shame because this is a team that's innovating. They're picking heroes that aren't picked by others. They're picking heroes that don't usually get picked on the mid lane, Disruptor, Doom, Safe Lane. I'm really sad that they're out. I was fanboying them a little bit.
I think a lot of people here were, because regardless of how their draft goes, they always put up a fight. They are always fun to watch. Like, I can't remember the last time I watched a game of Beastcoast and, you know, was like, oh, get this over with, they lost. No, even when they are super far down, they'll always make the other team work for it in a fun way.
I think it's pretty impressive for a team to this consistently fall a bit behind and being able to recover through good fighting. It does remind me a little bit of some of the games OG played at TI8, where there were many games where they were down like 5, 10K, and then they bring it back through one great mid-game team fight. Beastcoast did have plenty of those. We're going to be seeing one right here. This is one of the mid-game team fights going on the LC with the Doom first.
And yeah, Stinger had some great grips this game, by the way. Like, you couldn't even see him on the map half the time. I mean, if you have that much cast range, it's pretty nice on there.
And he got the right PL quite a few times as well.
They got the only problem that I did really see in the Beastcoast way of team fighting is when they're behind, right? They win a couple of team fights and then they're way too eager to continue pursuing, to get more. A couple of times they have that Doom off cooldown and they're chasing. There's no way after that Doom that they catch PL because coil is off, grip is off. They still Doom him, they still try to go on him and he just escapes and the Doom is wasted.
It does feel like that. In a way that makes it even more impressive what they're able to do, because it feels like the way they're playing off each other in team fights is tier 1 to me. Like their positioning, their spell casting, their movement, but the macro game, how you transition your lanes into a successful mid game or how you play off a victory correctly, it seems like some of that big experience is a little bit missing of always getting the good fight.
And it's weird, right? Because it feels like Hector actually has that. Like, he always knows where to be, but it's like where his team is taking these fights. And I don't know, it's definitely fixable. Like, that's one of those issues. You can definitely just look at these replays and be like, we got to do something different.
Yeah, they are a very promising team.
The way Schofield plays, the way Lelis plays around, Timur Schofield plays around Lelis. You have that pit of malice. You see this Tiny just running around, tossing people back into the pit of malice, tossing the right PL onto the bane so that you have that grip. Some of these plays are really incredible.
I must also say, though, previous game, the first game of the series, we said IG got baited into a couple of fights that they shouldn't have taken and got, well, on the back foot a little bit because of that. I felt like there was a stern talking to by Super in the break, and it didn't happen as often where IG got baited. And I thought they also improved from game 1 to game 2.
They definitely did. I think they took that one bad fight at like the middle racks, but besides that, they played extremely clean. And when you have an Arc Warden, you kind of have to, right? Because you just lose him once and you lose the game.
And the thing that was, for me, was very similar between game 1 and 2 was that IG just had better Roshan control in both games. Did Beastcoast get an Aegis? I don't believe so. In the series.
Yeah, in the series. No,
if you're playing 2 games and you don't get a single Aegis and there's like 5 or 6 claimed, the games generally end one way.
Yep.
Like, even if you fight amazingly, you're constantly playing at a deficit.
Now, who do you guys think was the MVP for that game number 2? That's the question. Could we get a drum roll, please? And we'll hear and we'll see who the MVP was. Hector, Do you think that this is a little bit on the mean side?
It's on the mean side because of that last pickoff. He didn't have buyback and they caught him farming that camp next to the river. It's like the game is over right there.
It is the game-ending play.
But
it was on him.
At the same time, that Doom had incredible impact throughout the game, had that super early Radiance, did quite well overall.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of farmers, man, that Doom, and not only that, the Skywrath was the 3rd highest net worth at, what, 12 minutes in?
That's one of
when did that happen?
One of the best Kaka games that I have seen in a long time.
There was a lot of position 4 magic in this game. Like, Kaka just dominated the first 10 minutes, and then Schofield started making incredible plays in the mid-game. I think Schofield got 11% of the votes. I feel like most of those were genuine, and he deserves it. I think he played a very good game with how hard it was. And for me, Kaka kind of fell off a little bit. He didn't keep riding the wave. He was like 3rd net worth.
I was going to say, he had a 8th great start.
Or 7th. Yeah, his start was incredible. He was above his Arc Warden for a moment.
Yeah, but it's difficult with the Skywrath.
It is.
Well, it's easier to get those kills early on when there's no BKBs, no Mantas, nothing to really save.
No one's running at you.
No one's jumping like Schofield was. So.
All right, guys. I've enjoyed you guys' company. I'm going to keep Graham for a little bit longer.
See ya. Yeah, sorry. Bye.
But Thomas, could you and you guys please? That's your cue, Cinder Lizard. Thank you. Make sure take the door. Take the door.
Take the door.
I need my phone.
Oh, okay, use the door.
I want my phone.
It's the only way out of this studio. It is the only way out. There are no
Slowly, don't fall.
What? You guys, you're not that old yet. What's wrong?
We're old.
I've sat on that couch. It's very comfortable, and I'm sure that there's 2 people that would love to sit a little bit on the couch. Well, one has to sit on the chair, actually.
Do they have to?
Good point. I don't know. They can sit on the couch if they want to. Let's find out what they want to do. Fogged and Capitalist, come join us here on the stage. That side. All right, yes.
This is where I was told to go.
That's fine.
I just listened to instruction.
I was just so confused every time. I'm like, why doesn't that door open?
We got to keep you guessing, Shiva, as much as possible. I thought we were just going to all crowd in on the couch. Yeah,
I'm listening to it, though.
I'm not going to lie. That couch is super comfy.
We can all pillow up, too.
Oh, my God.
But there's a lot of space over here, but I'm going to get a little closer.
Can I use the chair?
That was so loud.
If you want to, yeah, sure. Switch it up.
Can I use the chair? Because then I actually, the camera over there will have a tough time getting in my shot. Hi, you'll miss me if I'm not here. I think so. I'll stay here, and it's a good place to be too, because it is time to watch another awesome Dota 2 series.
Ooh.
Elimination. TNC and Liquid, and let me tell you something. These 2 teams, I don't know how, but both of these 2 teams have tried to play it in everything under the sun this entire season. But somehow, they only faced them once in Hamburg, and that was 2 teams that were very different. Sure, TNC won 2-0, and they won the whole tournament, but I feel like since then, both of these teams have grown tremendously.
I would agree, but TNC, oh man, they're just so good, right? They won the major. They're looking in the group stage. They kind of, are they just giving up already? And now they look as dominant as they did at the last major. And I'm pretty nervous for Liquid.
Yeah, I feel like whenever I watch TNC, I think every time we talk about them, I feel like when we're at the group stages, when they're not on the stage, it's like TNC doesn't really care too much. They're just kind of playing Dota.
Yeah.
March,
they get
yelling,
to the stage, they get hyped up, they just start playing at an infinitely better scale. So
when they're in form, this TNC squad looks incredible, right? Like I felt like going into the major, it was very obvious they were the best team there, just from the very get-go. It was that tournament they had before, right? ESL 1 Hamburg,
yep.
I think is where they really showed. They built up a lot of steam there, and once they got to the playoffs, they looked so good. It was so clear they were going to win that tournament, and then the major, a tougher crowd, sure, but TNC still looked like the best team there.
Yeah, and they were. I mean, they took the title home. Then the new patch came around, and the qualifiers obviously didn't look too great for TNC. And everybody's like, yeah, they don't need to try again. They got TI. But at the same time, I remember I was talking during that major. They have this squad under leadership of March, and they take a little bit longer to get used to a patch, but then they perfect the things they do. Is that fair to say for this time around too?
I agree, and I think that goes back to March, because if you think of the people March played with at the end of his Dota 1 days, it was Demon and Fear, and I think those two are extremely similar. So I think they all have the same thing where they will eventually learn it, but it takes them a little bit, those growing pains.
Yeah, I love when you hear, like, you know, the Demon, Fear, Febby, March, the old school. We got the old school NA boys. And actually, we do also have Febby, right? I don't know, when was he actually added back
like
into
right
it?
before.
It was right before,
Like,
right? So that
yeah.
can also be, you know, maybe March was feeling a little bit down after the last few, and he needed a little bit of help from his boys.
Just get Pep, honestly. Like, sometimes, I mean, even Blitz talks about it. Like, it's not all about his, like, knowledge of the game and drafting. It's he's there because he's, like, one of them, and they trust him.
Yeah,
And
they
it could be
trust
the
him
same.
and brings the energy, keeps the... We talked in the previous series a little bit how important mental state is for these teams, and that coach can definitely play a big part in that as well.
Yeah, we all like to talk about, like, Dota players and Dota strategy, you know, big galaxy brain stuff. Yeah. But, you know, I think we sometimes ignore just sometimes a player is feeling hot. He's feeling good. He goes into the game. It shows his confidence. He outplays people. That sort of thing does matter. And that's, you know, coaches can help you achieve that.
Yeah, they definitely can. I'm, of course, curious to hear you guys' thoughts about what you think about this matchup upcoming, but I am also very curious to hear what the players had to say, and in this case, TNC's Gabby.
Today, we're really confident as a team because we know we can do our best and we can try to win this series. Yeah, we hope so. We cannot say our strat against Liquid. Let's see the game, how it goes.
You know, I think that's a very deceiving portrait of Gabi. Because when we saw them play in the studio against against Fnatic, it was loud from all the sides. And you see, you know, a quiet boy just talking to the camera. No, that's not how this goes. This will be loud. I know that there's, there's glass in between, but I'm sure you guys will still be able to understand and hear.
There's gonna be some yelling.
There's definitely gonna be yelling.
One-on-ones they get a little shyer. But when they have their whole team rallying around them, that's when they start screaming. They don't care what anybody hears.
When
they're like, wait,
they're
like, wait, nobody hears my voice. They just think it's one of us. Whatever, do whatever we want.
Exactly.
And I think it's great that March, you know, you talked about a little bit of his history playing with a few goons like Demon. I think that this is a squad full of goons. You know, they get so excited. You need somebody to be able to have a little bit of discipline, have some calm in there, and that's where March really shines. I think he's obviously there is that TI moment of him getting hyped up, but when it comes to some of the in-game calls, you know, you hear him. He's the steady voice that makes sure they don't go too overboard.
Yes, and I think actually that the person that we hear from Liquid is the same type of voice we're going to hear from Koikfa.
So our match against TNC I think it's going to be pretty hype actually. Both teams coming from the lower bracket, so we kind of both have like a bit of momentum going on. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good series. Coming from the lower bracket, obviously, you know, it's always a tough road, but we managed to do it twice now, and we just hope to keep the momentum going at this point, and win. Yeah, I mean, Taiga has been owning this event to say the least. I mean, you know, maybe we play some Dark Willow again and clutch it out. You know, who knows?
I hope for every Liquid fan out there that it's not going to be the same type of clutch, because I'm sure that some people lost a couple of years of their lives there, a couple of extra gray hairs in there as well. But I think that Koikfa, he speaks about something very important. We've talked about teams coming from through the lower bracket all the time. Momentum is big. This is the first time where both teams come from the lower bracket. Nobody is dropped down instantly from a loss. So they both come off the back of a win. And I'm curious how that will impact the teams. What do you think, Grant?
I think I'm trying to think through both teams. Like on TNC, I look at someone like Armel, who I think by far out of these 10 players is probably the best player in this. And the confidence he has coming off wins, especially he has these heroes like Doom and stuff he can bring around. I think TNC is going to come in super confident. Meanwhile, Liquid, they're going to do the same. They're going to joke around. I think that first draft, they've already got it planned out. I think they've got it literally planned out. And if it goes well for them, that confidence into game 2 is going to be great. But I think if Liquid loses game 1, that's when they have to be really careful.
All right.
I do think both teams do ride up momentum. That is for sure. I think we heard it as well in the studio, right? Liquid, when they were playing versus like Na'Vi, Aiden is literally just screaming back and forth at each other. Same thing for TNC versus Fnatic. So,
well, we're going to have to wait a little bit before we can hear these teams ride the momentum and see which teams gets ahead. But we are very close to getting our second series started. We'll be right back.
Great Gaming Esports, professional esports housemaker.
Too faint to be seen. And the dark is calling. The bloody feet too numb to proceed. Try to be calm. I will try to carry on when I'm lost and alone in the storm. We will march ever on. We will march ever on through our fear. Song. Nice and all that, but these teams that want to be number one, could you please make some noise for TNC and Team Liquid? Woo! They're ready to take the stage for the DreamLeague Major Season 13, live in Leipzig. Woo! No handshakes this time round, straight to the booth. Game face is on. Oh, never mind. Nice. Still had a handshake. You know, we still got that going. I am super pumped for this game because both of these teams have played such interesting Dota. I'm going to call it that because it's good Dota, but then with a touch of weird. Let's focus on Liquid with that regard first, because I'm sure that everybody knows that some of the games they've played, mostly two of the games they've played, have gone 70 minutes plus, where they had a tremendous lead and they just have trouble closing. How do you fix that?
Great question.
I think it's just the experience, honestly. I think that's one of the biggest things is that when you play your pubs and then you play like scrims and competitive games, not a whole lot of them go into that late game. You can be super experienced with the laning phase, with the early game, how to execute your mid game. But it comes to the late game, you're only going to get that in like, especially the super late game, like 1 in every, 20 games or something like that? And as a team, you just need more experience. Well, Liquid, they're a rather inexperienced squad, right? All these guys are coming from Heroes of New Earth. All these guys, compared to the pool, don't have. We have nobody who's like, this is my first year of Dota, guys. But compared to the pool, Liquid is easily one of the most inexperienced teams here.
That's fair to say. I must say that they have been together. They've been a squad together for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right, they are playing a lot of 60-minute games, so they do have more pricing than other teams, right? Like, in a way. Like,
in a way,
they do play a lot
maybe in their
more now.
short amount of time, they've grinded up a decent amount. But
I know what you're saying. I agree. You really don't have 70 minutes in. Good luck. Who the hell knows what's going to drop?
That is true. Who knows the neutral drops, right?
They're just trying to make it fun for all the tournaments, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're like, average game length 30. Liquid's like, nah, let's bump that up for the viewer.
Hey, just to give you an idea, I have like twice the amount of time in Dota than Mickey does.
Then why are you not up there?
Because I'm garbage. That's why. Because I'm a terrible player. But I play a lot. But Mickey, meanwhile, his time in Dota, obviously he has a history playing in Han, but his Dota 2 history is actually like very short.
Fair enough, yeah.
So we got TNC on the Radiant side, Liquid on the Dire side. We have a couple of different bans coming out from Liquid compared to what they banned out yesterday. They banned out Puck and Tiny every single game that we saw. I have a sign. I think Loda's quite happy with the squad.
Yeah,
I mean, Team Liquid, they managed to bop Na'Vi one really hard. They easily 2-0'd that, and I think a large part of it was the Treant Protector. They got both games.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, TNC, I think they won both Enchantress games they drafted against Fnatic. So Liquid, obviously, they see a strong point. They're going to ban it away. I wonder if TNC are going to let them have the Treant Protector because they have a plan against it. I personally think that hero's too broke conceptually, but
you think?
I still do too. I still think that hero just does way too much because he's amazing early game, and then he is literally one of the best BKB counters in the game, and he also just makes your carries so much better because living armor, if you don't have a way to dispel that off, and also most carries are going to be like BKB later, so you can't dispel it off of them half the time. They just get that much stronger.
He's the best tower defender. He's one of the best split pushers as well, playing in the trees with the Meteor Hammer.
Yep.
And they're more afraid of the Naga Siren Disruptor combo, which may be what Liquid still opens with. The Disruptor has been in high value. Doom is also still out there, a hero that has been picked and banned in every single draft at this tournament.
And Taiga has really been liking Treant Protector as well. Yeah. So I don't know how early you want to prioritize that one, or you want to keep it open for a potential Willow.
I wouldn't doubt if we just saw a tree into like a Lich Slark.
Yeah, I think
pretty common.
I think the thing about the tree is, though, it's flexible. They played them, they can both play it. It's not just Taiga, but for the most part, it would be him.
They're using some time. They use a tree. All right, let's see. I think you're either Slark, Lich, or Disruptor plus something.
It's funny, it's like TNC left so many like OP heroes, quote unquote, and the Treant Protector and said, if you want your tree, we're gonna get something really good. I think Doom Disruptor is the best combo for me because it's the combination of Doom is a guaranteed kill as long as you have the catch for it. Disruptor's the ultimate catch.
Yep, definitely agree. I also just love these two heroes because you get to a point, if you get to the later stage of the game, you have Doom, and then you have AoE Doom.
Yep.
What's better than that?
That's
what we've seen a majority of these teams is the reason you pick the Disruptor is because he's gotten buffed so much in the early game, and then he gets to that later stage, of course with the Philosopher's Stone probably or something along those lines, and then he gets that.
We know Liquid likes to play games and they go pretty long. So how do you prepare for that? Like, do you just get a lot of heroes that are good Doom targets, or do you get heroes that can survive through all the Dooms?
They've been doing Oracle, which is good against Disruptor in the lane as well, and I take it right there. Yeah.
Nice call, Grant.
I was going to say their bench or Oracle. I think a save is just probably the best thing that we've seen.
And the Oracle is good, right? Because he Thunder Strikes you and you just take it off. And it's the highest damage nuke in the game, but only if it goes off and you can dispel it, which is nice.
Yeah. It's really cool too because it's a save, but it's not like you're just saving them because you're popping your ult on them, but you're also your fate's edicting them inside of that Disruptor ult. So Disruptor ult, like a lot of people are just like, it's an AoE Doom, but it does like 2,000 damage if you get caught inside of all of it. And that fate's edict counteracts like about half or so if you do put it at the right time.
And the AoE is gigantic too, ever since they gave it an extra 100 like 2 or 3 patches ago.
They banned the OD. I believe TNC was one of the 2 teams who played it in the safe lane, actually, so a little versatility from them. And also, OD is just one of like the few int heroes you're like, man, that's a real good late game hero. And just counters a bunch of the agility carries, obviously.
He's annoying as an Oracle to deal with too, because you can just put the target under, like while they're getting gone on, and then you can't save them, right? Like if he does just pop out, like they pop out really low, and then your Oracle has to get there in time to actually cast the spell. There's a lot of other reasons, sure, but.
Yeah, if there's an Oracle on your team and you have Quoigba on your team as well, you're probably banning out that Huskar.
Yeah, Huskar Oracle is really dangerous. I think Slark Oracle is very dangerous as well.
Yep.
Just the hard save to be able to bail a Slark out and give him a chance. Obviously, his regen kicks in double time once he gets out of vision as well. So
we expected some, cheese type of things coming out from both teams. Well, not expected, but it's likely that
more than
come
likely.
out. Yeah,
I
they
would
both
expect
play.
it. You're right.
Both teams, we're not going to call them disgusting, but they're dishonorable, as they were saying. Like Antonio was literally saying, we're dishonorable. Navi's are respectable.
Magical here's like, let's do some Puck versus Club. He's like, nah, Huskar, Meepo, Brood, whatever.
Brood.
All right, we got the Shaker removed from the pool, and the Bloodseeker banned Slark pickup.
I love Slark with Disruptor. Give that vision for the glimpses all those times, and you give that increased night vision, and they ban out the heroes that are good versus it. They ban out that Bloodseeker, and it's still one of the most popular carries.
They've been drafting Slardar a couple times, and it is one of the more proficient laners against Slark. It's a matchup you can't actually win.
Yeah, I know. What BSJ recommended that a lot when we were in Singapore, especially.
Well, they better pick it then if BSJ recommended it. Damn.
I have a Doom question. We have seen Armel play Doom for TNC. Are we expecting that again, or what kind of position? Especially, we have a Disruptor, and I thought, okay, it's going to be a Tim's Disruptor, but then we see the Shaker ban, and normally it's the Shaker for Tim's. So I'm like, who's going to go where? What should we expect?
I still think it's on KP until I see something differently. I just usually think Doom's in the off lane, but the thing is, March likes to last. He's last picked his hero a few times, actually. That Enchantress, which can go to different lanes, but I usually just assume Doom's in the 3 unless you see something like obvious.
We have seen it also ran in the 4 though, right? Tim's has played it a lot in the 4, even at last tournament. He was playing it a bunch, and we've seen Zayat's run it a lot in 4. A lot of different teams are, so it is very flexible. I do think that is a very good point.
We've actually seen it in every single role because there was a 5 Doom as well. We've seen it in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's nuts.
Yeah,
maybe the only hero.
Yeah,
I think
that's a good point.
Madness. Well, leaving it open, that's always been one of the nice things to do, right? In your draft. Ooh, nice. The Boxy special. I don't think there's any question about who's playing what on the side of Liquid. They're going
panel's on fire, baby.
I mean, BSJ, thank you.
Shout out to the man. The promo code himself.
But okay, so in lane, you just how do you win it, Cab? You were kind of saying like
you hit the creeps 3 times and then you bop the Slark. Yeah, you just keep doing that over and over.
Is that what you do, or do you just so you never want to like trade hits? You
you don't trade hits because Slark will still beat you on the Essence shift stealing, but you just keep on harassing him to a point. Eventually, you'll get an advantage, right?
Yeah. No, I really like this Slardar versus this. It also is a hero that can play super aggressive, so if they do start getting their lead forward versus a Disruptor, you're running at a Disruptor. Disruptor doesn't like getting ran at, and Slardar is a hero that always is just going to open up Rosh. Immediately that hero, even if you don't have a Roshing lineup, Corrosive Haze just gives you that potential.
And the Lich made it all the way through to 4th pick.
That's pretty dirty. The Lich Slark, you get Lich Slark in your 3 and 4 pick. It's like Vici and EG are first picking the and you're getting it here. That's pretty crazy.
And most of the damage coming from Slardar and Train Protector in lane are physical damage. So that makes if you do get the Frost Armor, it makes it even stronger in that regard.
There is an Oracle.
Yeah.
So there's a Dispel. That's one of the big things too, is like Lich is going to be annoying. It depends on, in what instances if he's ever in the lane. But it's going to be a lot of times where you just see that Oracle, Fortune's End, just being able to purge off that Frost Shield.
I wonder, it's like he wants to be in both lanes, right? The Disruptor, Thunderstrike, and the Lich. So it'll be interesting to see how Liquid solves this.
Ooh.
Okay.
A hero we saw a ton during the group stages, and then it's kind of fallen off. We've seen it a little bit here and there, but it's really fallen off, and I think most of us are like, I wonder why. It is still very, very good.
Yeah, especially like if it's against like a Doom. Doom can suffer a little bit sometimes because you have like this very low armor, but also Doom can run at you pretty hard, so it's a little bit of it goes both ways just because of that. But also, like, Slark is also a weird matchup too, because versus Drow, you can be excellent if you're ahead, because you can just, you're always far away from the Slark. But once Slark gets ahead and you get an Aghanim Scepter, then you're never going to be able to keep the distance away from Slark.
So if you want to talk about like combo heroes with Drow Ranger, the OD's already banned out. Same goes with the Huskar, but there's still Viper, Storm. Is there any other that you guys can think of?
Storm is the biggest one, at least for me, for Liquid right now. I mean, there's Pounce and there's some like little small disables that are a bit annoying for him, but could be a possibility.
It's always just scary, right? Because now some disruptors were going straight up Ags, now they're going Ewell's Ags. So no matter what, if Storm gets caught by that Ewell's, you're gonna die.
Yep.
Well, you have an Oracle, but more than likely you're gonna die.
There's Puck, but I feel like Puck has fallen off as a core a bit more and really stuck in that 4 position. We saw Chris Luck, not really have the greatest game in that last series.
Yeah, what did that Puck do that a 4 Puck couldn't have done kind of thing? And
exactly.
It feels like that's what a lot of heroes do, right? They just slowly go down the list as their farm priority.
Oh, there's TA.
There is TA.
It's a lot of little damage over time, though, for a TA.
I don't like... TA versus Slark is always a bit of a...
Should we be worried about Broodmother still, or no?
I was looking at that. Broodmother for Liquid is... I don't think it's bad. I think it's pretty good.
They
could still be last pick
They're not
for
the
TNC.
overall, though. Yeah, that's the problem. And I think there's actually some pretty good...
And some of those matchups you can shift Doom into the mid lane against. I don't know how the Broodmother works, but...
I've seen Slark, and it was actually China pubs were running Slark against the Brood middle.
Oh, yeah, you just run at him right away with, like, Orb?
Right-click him with Orb, and he gets out of lane because he doesn't get that many Spiderlings early. I've only seen that in China pubs, though. They do ban the Puck.
Okay.
Just like...
That's all you needed was control, right? You had a Doom Disruptive Slark. If you just control some people with that hero, they're going to die.
It's like Gyro mid, Morph mid. There's some interesting options you could change up.
I must say, if you take away the bans, you don't see that, and you just see what TNC is drafted. It's like, how did they get Doom and Disruptor and Lich and Slark? I feel like that's looking super strong to me.
And I think that's what we talked about, right? Like, I think Liquid came in with their own draft that they're going to go for, and they're like, we're going to give TNC what they want as long as we get what we want.
What I see right now is Liquid has some super strong lanes, and TNCs are just... They're kind of weak. I mean, Lich and Disruptor do kind of turn that one, but in comparison, I think Liquid's lanes just look really scary just because of the picks that they have, like the counter picks, like the Slardar versus the Slark. So we're probably going to see some like lane dodging coming out from TNC to try to get the better situation out of that one.
Well, the nice part is Slardar beats Doom as well as a core, right? So
good call on the Viper. I think it was one of those.
Yeah, it's just natural pickup.
And this hero doesn't feel bad late game. Remember a while ago, it's like, oh, you just fall off at a certain point. No, those wings flap way quicker, and you do a lot of damage. And as Kyle say, that Drow aura. No, I'm just kidding. There's no aura on Drow, Kyle.
Well, the ult ties an aura, but it's different. Yeah, it's like 1,200 radius. It's not global or
You got
Kyle.
the nether toxin that you could drop on the ground against the Slark. So when he shadow dances and he tries to just stay on top of somebody, he doesn't actually get those stats stealing away.
What do we like it for last pick for TNC? Most likely for Armel.
What if they brood?
Nah. Would they? Nah.
But there's a Viper.
I just don't.
You'd have to Slardar
That'd
mid.
Be weird. I don't know. I don't think the TNC would do it, but
it's Alina.
It's Alina. That's more comfortable, and it's
the range.
It's just it's their comfort style for sure.
All right, guys. Do we like it, and who do we like more?
I'm actually not sure if I'd like the Alina last pick. It just feels kind of standard. I just look at the 4 other heroes from TNC. I feel like all those heroes, like so many of them are in the top 10.
All right, guys. We're going to find out what's going to happen. We're going to send you to a musical intermezzo, and after that, straight to the game.
ladies and gentlemen, we've got TNC versus Liquid ready to go here from Leipzig. I'm ODPixel, joined by Lizard for this one. Lizard, what are you looking forward to here? We've got Liquid trying out the old Drow Viper strat. TNC, though, they've got a lot of ways to close the gap, and a lot of ways I feel that's going to make it very hard for Mickey to play his game as the Drow.
They have so many gap closing abilities. You have Pounce on the Slark once that he gets that tag, and at the same time you have Disruptor, one of the strongest supports at the moment. I can't believe that this hero just got through so easily in the first drafting stage. I don't know. Liquid, they believe in their draw strategy. It's definitely strong. You have Corrosive Haze, you have Viper, like the panel mentioned before, but this looks like such a great Slark game too.
It really does. I mean, as you say, you know, when he has the Ags, the BKB, it's going to be very hard for Liquid to just stop him from getting on top of the Drow and causing so many issues for Mickey in those mid-game fights. We'll see if Liquid's able to get the good edge in the lanes. They, you know, obviously picking like this Drow, the Viper, I mean, the mid lane in particular. We'll see how that matchup does go down. Armel, as a leaner, you got the ways to like nuke the wave out, you know, to sort of spam back and push back against the Viper. But if you sort of fail on that first wave and the Viper's able to position himself on the high ground, it can be very annoying and very hard to get close to the creeps.
Whenever I see the Lina, I look at the enemy team and it's the same with Drow. Do they have the catch? Do they have the gap closing abilities? And when you look at Liquid, initially they don't, but later on, Tree is going to be invis all the time. In the trees, you're going to have most likely a blink on Boxy. Usually he goes for that Axe build, but eventually he will have that blink. And when that does happen, Lina might be in a lot of problems.
Oh, we see the lane setups here for Liquid. They are going to run the aggressive. At the moment, they have Slardar up top, which is in that matchup where the Slardar is going to be against the Slark and can really sort of punish the Slark early on. We'll see how much March can do to keep this area safe for Gabby, but as a whole, you definitely have a strength as the Slardar against this melee hero like a Slark on the early levels, because you just got to punch it.
From level 2, you're much stronger, but they rotated Disruptor as well, and Boxy might be in problems.
They're trying to get aggressive onto March, and he'll be able to get the kill for it. He may lose his life, though, as the Thunderstrike and the right clicks do mean the trade does occur. Gabby gets the permanent anti-S and shift stack. So Liquid, they get first blood, but they also give a kill away to the Slark very early on.
Yeah, I think if you're Boxy, you're kind of alright with that. Giving that kill away to Gabi is definitely problematic, and now we will have a 3-on-2 action here, at least for the time being. I'm wondering if they will bring the 3-N towards the top lane as well.
Oh,
the kill of the Doom.
Yeah, Tiger and Mickey, Tiger's able to lead him right into the tower. He gets low, does not fall. Some aggression whilst they realize that TNC's attention has been drawn towards the top lane and KP is alone.
It's all about these starting items. If you look at the Taiga, he has Fairy Fire and most importantly Orb of Venom, and because of that he can go on KP again.
We have the Nature's Grasp sort of just blocking off any sort of escape for KP, and it's going to be a second kill just as quickly as KP comes back to the lane. Tiger will happily reset and get himself a free trip back to base, but this lane for Mickey, it's being set up perfectly because of Tiger's aggression.
Yeah, he's having a blast. At the same time, I don't think... Let's see where 3-N will go again. If he goes top, which he is, Drow Ranger is left alone, lonesome on that bottom lane, and there might be some switches happening from TNC as well. You don't leave that Drow alone. You have to react to that.
I mean, so obviously KP's got to take the slow walk back to the lane, so there will be a lot of time for Mickey to get a few waves in. He's smoking, yeah, to get over there that little bit quicker. And Mickey's going to have a lot of space because of that time. It just takes KP to return to bottom.
On the panel of the last game, we also talked about the creeps that he can get as Doom early on, and it's very difficult for a Doom to find the useless creep, but these little mud golem farts, they're probably one of the worst ones to get. You get that stun and that's it. A Frost Armor would be much better for him down bottom.
Now, looking at the mid lane so far, Armel on these early few levels, he is doing a fantastic job against the Viper. 13-4 against the 8-for-2. He's got that edge.
I think this is to be expected if the lane block wasn't perfect from the Viper, because Lina outranges him, and then when the stacks start happening, you just LSA and move back.
Well, Armel certainly proving to have mastered that matchup, as it were, so far. And a lane that, we'll see if there's going to be any sort of rotations.
You can see it already. There's a Disruptor rotating bottom lane. Drow might be in problems. She has to be very careful about the way she lanes here. He's invis as well.
Let's see if Tims can get the catch. It's just level one, so will just be a Thunderstrike offering up that bit of damage, a little bit of a slow of each tick, and Mickey is rather close to the tower. The wave is going to push out. We'll see how far forward he steps.
If they only had the glimpse here, now they do, level 2, maybe even kinetic.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the
now,
glimpse.
now they can have a good shot at this. Mickey, he has got Tiger by his side. And that'll be enough to push KP back, so the damage won't be there to bring Mickey down. And now Mickey can turn, gets the slow and the multi-shot onto KP. KP dies a third time on this bottom half of the map as Tiger and Mickey, they are working this bottom lane perfectly.
Yeah, KP is just having a terrible time so far on that bottom lane. Here on top, we have Insania. He's trying to... he actually snatches that creep away, but because of that, he is bounced on.
I mean, Gabby's got to be a little careful because Boxy's going to start going for his support, pushing March away from him. Gabby does commit, get the kill. See if Boxy can punish this. Mickey's coming with the TP to offer that extra bit of damage, but Gabby, he's just turning, and he actually kills off Boxy as well. Gabby gets the double kill, and Mickey just does not have the damage at the moment to shoot down the Slark. Gabby's going to get away with it.
He had sticks, and he obviously has essence shift. You have to be super careful when you're fighting Slark in these melee engagements. Even if you're a Slardar, it doesn't matter. You think, all right, I'm going to get my 3 charges, then I'm going to stun you. But by the time you get those charges, you don't even hit him that hard because he stole all of your attributes.
I mean, Gabby, you know, sure, we've been talking about Mickey having a good time down bottom because of the way that Tiger's helped out his lane. But this top lane, Gabby getting 3 kills, all of them granting him that extra buff to the essence shift permanently. He's having a great start on that top half of the map.
I think it's super important for them to have a very tanky, very fat Slark early on because he can create a lot of space. He can be very, very active in this game. He doesn't have to be that Slark that just disappears for until 15-minute mark. He can be active across the map and rotate.
I mean, and this mid lane, Armel, he's just continuing to crush Quake for 27-11 against the 18 for 6. Quake for very much struggling. Now, Armel, he's hit the 6. He's got that kill potential. And TNC, they're going to look to abuse it just as he hits that 6. Perfectly timed. The glimpse back into the stun. There's the nuke from the Laguna Blade. TNC, very hot with the moves.
He's 10 CS behind, and now he fell as well. They kill him in the perfect timing, like you noticed. Lina hits that 6 because of the advantage with the denies. Instant rotation by Tims. Tims has done this really well so far in the game. He rotated bottom. It didn't really lead to anything. It only led to his Doom's demise, but at the same time, he recovered super well by rotating mid.
Quayfoot returns to the lane, but does certainly have to remain cautious with Tims in their neighborhood, and especially with Armel bottling up a double damage rune. When the glimpse is back up, they may well just look to make another move onto the Viper to try and push Quayfoot out of that area once again.
I love what Tims is doing overall on that side of the map because he has just warded that cliff next to the medium camp and he's just waiting for the courier, perhaps waiting for another opportunity to strike. You can see these wards. They will prevent Viper from going back into the woods. You can see him.
And there we go, the glimpse into the stun. Armel steps in. He hasn't got Laguna Blade back up quite yet. Still 5-second cooldown, and Insania's in with the safety to keep Quake for fine. Now Quake's going to turn, just see if he can get a touch onto Tims, but Tims, he's already backed off.
Koikoi is suffering, and their literal game plan is to continue doing that, to continue pressuring him as much as possible, because you want to make Viper weak in that mid game. He would be the one that stands up front and just creates a lot of mess. He would be the tank, and if you weaken him in the early stages of the game, he won't have the opportunity to do so comes 15-minute mark.
Oh. A little bit of an aggressive pounce there from Gabby. Doesn't quite get the latch. Bottom lane, KP's dropped down the Doom onto Boxy. Tims with the Thunder Strike, trying to do the damage to bring him down low, but there's living armor healing him up. So the Doom alone will not kill Boxy off. He's able to back away.
Very interesting from KP, the skill build that he's going for. If you notice mind control and how he's playing, he goes for no devour.
Armel. They're getting in on top of Armel with the help of Insania. There's the backup. March comes in with the TP Frost Shield. Armel's gonna be, is the poison enough? It is. The poison will kill him. Liquid finally able to push Armel out of that lane that he's been dominating in for the most part.
Koikwa needed that kill. He needed that kill so much because he was 1,000 gold behind at 8-minute mark. That shouldn't be happening as a Viper. You always pick the hero to lane dominate, and he has been just suffering there.
Yeah, very nice moves from Insania, coming in and giving that extra bit of hold and control to allow Quakefoot to get on top of Armel. Bit of a courier snipe here, but overall, Liquid, they do have the 1k lead. Mickey's game still continues to be the strongest after that entire free farm he had down bottom, and now moving up to top. He's continuing to get away with all the farm. Not really too much that Gabby can do alone to contest the CS. Maybe with a +1 he can try and get aggressive onto Mickey, but Gabby, well, Gabby now with the 6-2, so he does have that Shadow Dance, so can afford to be a little more aggressive without the worry of Liquid turning on him.
I think they will try to go on top lane very soon. They should at least. The Drow Ranger is probably the most susceptible one to dying this early on in the game. And with a couple of levels on Lich and on that Slark, if he's out of position just a little bit, he can fall. Same goes for KP. Even though he's a Doom, we saw how Doom can be super tanky in that last game. This is a completely different match. He doesn't have Frost Armor, and he's also playing versus a Slardar. That Corrosive Haze is going to make him melt.
Yeah, Boxy with a nice little neutralite pickup as well. Finds the Faded Brooch. That extra bit of movement speed will help him close the gap and stay on top of the enemies when he starts to see opportunities to run them down.
I love Taiga's positioning. He's securing Koikwa here. If Lina approaches from behind the tower, they can make an aggressive move as well. But most importantly, he's just scouting so that no one else can go on the Viper. Armel with a little bit of an out-push play. Stops Viper from that tier 1 attempt.
See coming up to the 10-minute outpost if either team wants to try and look for a fight. Liquid bringing 3 of them down bottom as Koikwa starts to leave that mid lane for the first time this game, ready to use his power as the Viper to secure this area of the map for Liquid.
It's your 10-minute mark. You're thinking about outposts and you're thinking about this tier 1. Tier 1's on the safe lanes. That's basically your objective. And if you can get the outpost and the bounty rune, it's super easy to get backup, right? Once you go on that tier 1.
On the river, Armel. It's chasing Insania a little bit, doesn't quite have the mana to blow the full combo on him, so Insania will live. Just a 1-for-1 on the outpost, as expected. No sort of full-on fight being looked for by either side with the full 5. Mickey remains on his half of the map in the jungle, continuing to farm up safely. Going for the standard build as the Drow, the Dragon Lance, Hurricane Pike, that ability to have that extra mobility to ensure that it's a little bit harder for Gabby to land the pounces on him.
I love what Slark attempted to do here. He attempted to pull the wave so that he can push with his catapult wave, right? But it didn't work because Mickey came back and he defended. Nice attempt by Gabby, nonetheless.
All about just getting these early items before the players really start to come out from the cores. Gabby trying for that diffusal blade, and he's still going to hit good timing on it.
I think if you're Doom right now, you need to find the Ogre Frost Mage or the Purge Creep. The Purge Satire would be so good versus the enemy team, versus Liquid's lineup. So far, he is just farming away in the back. He's leaving Boxy completely to free farm on the lane. He can't really approach the lane creeps.
Still, you know, with the game at this passive pace, Mickey is going to continue to out-farm the cause of TNC. The TNC, the pressure is going to be on them to make plays, especially with Armel as this Lina. He's going to want to start moving around the map, looking for opportunities to burst down the cause of Liquid, which is only going to get harder as the game goes on, especially heroes like Boxy that will become increasingly tanky as the Slardar.
Exactly, I'm surprised he hasn't already attempted that, but look at his first item. You don't see it super often, but he went for the travels, and they will allow him to be aggressive even after just defending, pushing mid lane. I like that item build a lot.
Well, they've got to make moves, and it looks like they will now. Now starting to stray away from the mid lane. Armel ready to team up with March, and they're going to make the move towards the bottom, try and go for the hero that they feel is most likely to be left alone, as Boxy is down here, continuing to farm. See if Boxy reads this.
So tanky though, 20 stick charges as well. They need to kill him off fast.
The 4 of them, they should have a pretty solid chance of doing it. The Sinister Gaze into the Light Strike Array. Living Armor will not protect Boxy as TNC get the pick off, and they'll now try and push for more. They'll want more out of this, as they did bring the 4 heroes down here. Of course, whilst this goes down, Liquid being very efficient. Mickey continues to take over the jungle. Tiger's getting a bit of a look in on that top lane, and they're also pressuring in mid Liquid. So TNC, they'll need to get this tower as well to make that move worth it.
The thing is, in this sort of a situation, you need to bring 4. If you look at the network charts, he was almost on top, and Slardar with free farm is going to crush you in the mid game. You needed to delay his item progression at least a little bit.
The tower is taken by TNC. They get that objective.
Look at Boxy. If you just understand what his item build is all about, he wants to be the front line. He wants to get that pipe for all the magic damage, obviously, from TNC. And with that hood, he will be able to do that.
See top arm out. He's going to look for the solo kill onto Tiger. Has he got the burst to do so? Tiger's going to use the overgrowth with Laguna Blade still unavailable for 10 seconds. Armel did not have the ult ready to go. And now they're going to try and turn both the Gust and the Nature's Grasp off the mark.
He has ult.
Tims steps in, they turn with the body shot. Tims will be able to trap him in the static storm, but Tims loses his life for it. And Tiger's trying to press it onto Armel. Armel does now have Laguna Blade back and available. He's not even going to need it for Tiger as KP comes in with the Mud Golem rocks, stuns up the tree, takes him out, and the rest of Liquid are forced back behind the tower.
They're still cleaning around. There's Doom.
They're bringing TPs in. Quaifer's going to come across to try and help out, but Insania goes down. Armel picks up the double. TNC, they're still trying to get in under the tower. They know they've got the number advantage. There'll be a buyback from Tiger to make sure that TNC cannot look to dive. A very necessary buyback, as you could tell that TNC, they were hungry. They knew there was only 2 heroes behind there, and they were ready to go even deeper.
At the same time, they literally brought everyone to that top lane. Meanwhile, Boxy just chilling on the bottom lane farming. He might even go on this Disruptor. He might get him.
He just turns, mans up onto Tims. One more touch would do it, but he can't quite get in range. Maybe he can. They kill him just in time. They're able to protect Tims. He nearly goes down as Boxy nearly jukes all 3 of them out. Won't be the case though. TNC get the kill.
That's Boxy right there. You can never count him out. He looks like he's about to die. He pops those stick charges, the sprint, and he almost takes down Disruptor with him.
Still, this game kept very even at the moment. 9-6, less than 1k in it. Sort of the biggest difference being the difference between the mids. You know, obviously, Quaifer still playing a bit of a catch-up game after the struggles that he had in that matchup against Armel. But if they can continue to respond to these plays from TNC, every time TNC starts to get aggressive close to a tower, Quaifer's going to be ready to TP over and offer that extra bit of damage from range.
It has been a very slow-paced game so far. Only one tier 1 is down, 15 minutes in, but I expect that to change very soon. On the side of TNC, you're getting these big items. You have Diffusal on Slark. He's rushing a BKB immediately after, but I think they might be ready to fight. Yules will be completed soon as well on Lina, so you will have that extra pick-off potential.
Yeah, here we have, you know, as you said, bots and Yules combo. Armel is going to be ready to hunt anywhere that his team sees fit to start some action.
They look so tanky though on the side of Liquid. You have this Viper with that rush the 4-staff, really good versus the Slark lineup, obviously. You have Slardar that isn't completing a pipe, he's going for the Hood of Defiance into Blink Dagger, which I also respect, and he's going instantly top to defend this tower.
Mass TP's top. Tiger, he's ready to look for the wraparound for the trees to see if he can get the ult to catch these 2 out. KP and Armel, they're pushing on the 2 of them. TP's coming into the outpost there. It's going to be a full-on fight. There's the Overgrowth to starting the tombstone, so there'll be no crush, but he can still look for the right clicks. Armel gets the light strike out with the Yules, tries to separate himself from Boxy. He's still on the retreat, but Quaifer's in with the Viper strike. Armel, he goes for the TP out. He's going to make it away. Armel escapes. And TNC will not lose anyone, neither will Liquid. Liquid, they're still hunting. They know there's more in the jungle. Gabby trying to get out. Shadow Dart's popped. Can he pounce away? He can. Static Soul with Tims thrown down to contain Mickey. But Tims, he's being slowed, he's being chased. Gabby gets the space to escape, but Mickey slides forward and will claim the kill. Tims to fall. But nobody else goes down. All the other cores escape.
You're definitely not satisfied if you're a TNC fan right now, because they had to waste that Doom onto the Slardar just so that Lina can go back. If they didn't do that, Slardar would definitely catch up onto her. I also love the way Liquid utilizes these heroes. Most importantly, Oracle, the way Insania plays around his teammates. While Slardar was going closer and closer to the Lina, he was casting Purge on the Slardar. So even though there were no stuns coming from Boxy, you still have that Purge to keep her in spot. Sadly, they had no follow-up and Lina TP's away.
Excellent reactions though from both teams. You can see that nobody's getting left out of the action. Everybody turning up to these engagements to do their best to ensure they come out on top. In the river, March goes for a bit of a de-warding mission. Boxy's going to be on top of them because of that, and with the damage coming out, the combination of the corrosive haze and the physical from Mickey, March does not stand a chance. Mickey's game continuing to blossom. He stays there at the top alongside Armel's farm.
Taiga bottom lane. They might go on him.
So if there's going to be any TP back up there, it looks like he'll be left alone. Nothing that Liquid can offer him up, but they'll make the most out of the space. Mickey's back to mid. Liquid's still on the top lane as well, so
they understand how Taiga is playing. They've seen his three games. He wants to get that Meteor Hammer very fast, and because of that, they always they assign him that hard lane so that he can just outpush it and get that Meteor Hammer even faster. The Slark goes there. Lina TP's in with Boots of Travel. They scout him out, and it's easy to kill when you commit 2 cores for position 4.
Now the blink's done for Boxy, so Liquid's plays, that sort of setup's going to be a lot easier. No longer does he have to walk in and hope that he doesn't get doomed to be able to go for the blink crush. The dive comes in, Gabby looks for Quaker, nice track array off the mark, but they've got a lot of burst with the Lagoon and the Dragon Slave. It's not enough though. Insania is in with the save. Quaker will be fine as TNC back away. They cannot dive any further.
Insania also understood that he did not need to use False Promise. Their top lane, however, Boxy.
He's looking for the setup. Do they have the damage? They're going to drop the Doom. Boxy is very, very tanky. The Living Arm as well, keeping him fine. Armel's coming across the Yule setup, but he has to be careful. Tiger's trying to get on top of the leader. The Overgrowth holds the back of Force. The Hurricane Pipe from Mickey, separating Boxy, keeping the Slardar safe, and now Liquid can turn. They turn onto KP, slowing him down. KP's in trouble. Gabby and March are still trying to get to the backlines, but Liquid, they're playing close to the tower.
You cannot doom the Slardar and expect to kill him without at least the Laguna Blade. He has a hood, he has a bracer, you're not taking him down. This is another time they waste that doom. At least the Static Storm is still there for them, so perhaps they can take another fight around this top lane.
And Gabby, he's sort of cool with them just calming down for a little bit. He's a recipe away from his BKB, something that's going to be very important for being able to commit on these targets and not having to worry about them turning immediately. Obviously, they'll still have a fair bit of physical, but if he gets the chance to get the momentum in the fights as he starts to get those essence shifts, it's going to be hard for Liquid's cause to get themselves away from the slot.
You say that, but at the same time, if you click on the Drow Ranger, on the Viper, you'll know that they have 2 Force Staffs. There's a Pike on Mickey, there's a Force Staff on Koikwa, and even when he gets that BKB, he will be able to chase and not die, but I'm not so sure if he's going to be able to actually take anyone down this early on.
Tower taken by Liquid. I see the opportunity to push and they jump at it. Gabby continues to farm aggressively over Liquid's half of the map. See if Liquid sweep by and catch wind of him. That's Gabby. He knows that they're going to be hunting, goes for the TP out. There's no vision on him, so no way to catch him.
I love that he's carrying 3 sentries in his inventory. A lot of my carry Slark players in pubs could learn a lot from Gabby. You just get those sentries, you move across the map, it's so easy for a Slark to D-ward.
BKB, a few hundred gold away for Gabby. Waits upon that one. Over the other side, Boxy's going to go for the Halberd next after the blink. Make sure he has that extra means to disable Gabby in the fight, stop him from being able to get away with the damage. And I mean, you're certainly right. Between that Halberd and the kiting potential of the Force Staffs, it's not necessarily going to be easy once the BKB is done. He's definitely going to need that Aghanims before Liquid are going to feel truly threatened by the slot.
It's weird as well. When you look at TNC's lineup, you see the glimpses, you see Lina with early Boots of Travel into Yules, you see Slark with Diffusal, with Pounces. You expected them to be able to get these kills, but that's definitely not the case because of the way the lanes have went. Slardar had a really good time and now he's leading the charge. He's smoked up, he has that blink, hood, bracer, he wants to pounce.
Let's see if they get the jump on Armel. It's on the front lines, Boxy. He's in, the corrosive, the bonus jump. Armel doesn't stand a chance as Liquid shoot down the Lina. They'll look to the tier 1 tower as well, and that is what TNC have to be scared about the most. Anytime Boxy gets a lead in like that, there's just no way that you're protecting them from Boxy and Mickey's damage output.
This combination is so broken. You jump in with the Slardar with the Corrosive Haze, and then you have Drow Ranger with that Pike that just follows up with multi-shot from yards away.
And they're going to go for Roche. 20 seconds, no Lina. We'll see if TNC can contest this without Armel.
Disruptor is coming in, but
it's going to be too late. They've already got it. Liquid take the Roche. They take the Aegis. Boxy's looking for action. Jumps in. Tims is gone. As Liquid starting to amp up the pace they're playing. The question is, are TNC ready for this?
Hurricane Pike is usually the best item for Drow early on, but in this game even more so.
Okay.
However,
he's going up to the high ground here, but TNC, they're prepared. They drop the Doom down. Insania uses the False Promise to try and keep Mickey safe, but they're going to chase this one for sure. Insania will buy back. He knows that he has to help Mickey after this bit of a mess up. Boxy goes to the high ground, gets the crush on the Corrosive Phase on the pot, onto the poor leader. Armel's dead. They'll lose March as well in the river. Gabby with a BKB trying to mount up against him, but he's already lost 2 of his heroes. He's got to get out. Pounces up to the high ground. KP as well trying to split the attention away. As Liquid, they'll chase. The route's there. I don't think there's any escape for KP as he's starting to get slowed down. Quite for TP's over, and Liquid take another. As TNC unable to fight there outside the pit. Liquid did have to expend 2 buybacks but they continue to make sure their game goes from strong to stronger.
I would never expect Liquid to be really good at going high ground, but here they go on that, they go on the shrine even, then they retreat, they bait them out and take a fight where it's really good for them, around their tier 1, around the river, because Oracle did fall, but instantly he is able to buy back and move into the fight.
Boxy ready to hunt once more with this smoke. Going in very aggressive, looking for the wraparound, see who they can find behind the towers. Tim's maybe the catch as they jump in, and he's gone before we even see him. He's just instantly dead to the onslaught of the multi-shot.
If you're Liquid, there's absolutely nothing that you have to wait for right now. You're playing versus a Slark. He suffers heavily when you 5-man, and they're ready to 5-man right now. They don't have to go back. I believe this might even be a high ground push. Can they get another catch?
We'll see how much they want to push it. Force forward. They've got the grab onto March. March is gone as well. Dead for 60. There's no buyback available for the Lich. Liquid, do they want to try and go for more? Doesn't look like it. They'll hold on for now, back away.
It's understandable too. But Lich is dead.
Or maybe with this second creep where they will go again. We'll see. It's always hard to tell. Obviously, Liquid in the
it's
past
always
few
hard
series,
to tell with Liquid.
Yeah,
right?
they've struggled to win. They struggle to go high ground. Let's see if they are feeling a little more confident today. As outside the base they stand. Okay, starting the siege. Bit of a push back onto KP. What TNC, they don't really have the best means to shove the waves back out. It's basically on Armel's Lina from a range. With a glimpse. Not going to commit anything else on the kinetic field. Doesn't trap boxing. Even so, he's such a tanky Slardar at the moment.
You have Viper. He's extremely difficult to take down. You have Drow Ranger with Aegis, and then you have Boxy, who's almost unkillable. All supported by this Oracle plus Treant, this duo in the background that just... this allows you to take down anyone.
And they've got that tower. TNC, can they do anything to punish this? Another glimpse step, but Boxy, he's just straight in onto the high ground, goes immediately onto Tims. Tims is dead. They do Mickey, but Mickey, he's going to be protected by Insania. Boxy does fall for this. Can TNC chase for more? They're brought back on Tims. TNC, they've got to find something out of this. They'll get the second support. Tiger's gone. They're chasing onwards. Another glimpse. Can they kill Mickey twice? He's dragged back into the hands of Tims and March. The Thunderstrike upon him. Gabby committing with a BKB. Gets himself out of the multi-shot. Still has the Shadow Dance. He's got to back off. The Static Storm stopping Liquid from being able to turn immediately. They'll get March. Can they get Tims? Another stun from Armel. Slows Boxy's attempt to jump in. Tims, the range, still catches him though. Mickey and Quaitford rip him apart.
KP, he's trying to creep skip. I believe he might have done it. They do have a catapult mid lane, but they will instead go for the Doom. They won't catch him. Now, this Carti, if it survives, you can see the pings are coming from the Doom. If this catapult survives, they can push high ground.
Yeah, they can certainly look to try and go for the racks. In terms of the buybacks in that last fight, Tims did use this, but the big one, of course, being that of Boxy's. Liquid will have to be just a little aware of Boxy. He's been playing very, very aggressive. If he does die again, there's going to be quite a big window for TNC to punch back at Liquid. But as it stands, Liquid, with the damage they have, they can move up, take these racks. And without the 5-man and the Shadow Dance available for Slark, TNC cannot fight this. They're going to have to let this go as Liquid start to open up the base of TNC.
They took first side 26 minutes in. I'm just baffled by Liquid's performance so far. Not only because they're playing so well, but because they as Liquid, are able to take a side. Overall, KP has to be mad. He tried to creep skip there. He did manage to take the creep wave, but not the catapult. And Disruptor in that last fight really demonstrated why this hero is...
Poor old Tims. Boxy. Again, I mean, so many times that Boxy's just been finding the jump onto Tims. They're going to look to punish him. And I said, Boxy's got to be careful doing aggression. He did use his buyback. He has indeed got back up Insania and Quaitford coming across. Boxy, does he want to look to jump again? He's got the blink, he's in. Onto March, Corrosive Haze. He continues to play aggressive. A force on March, gets him back up to the high ground. March will live for now.
They're just trying to push the tempo before TNC gets a couple of extra items, before this Doom gets every defensive item that he needs. So far, he has completely itemized it in that aspect. He has Ghost Scepter.
Boxy, he's onto Gabby. Gabby, forced to pop the ult. Again, staying away from Liquid, making sure that Liquid cannot capitalize on these jumps. Liquid They're focused on getting the momentum of the other waves in. Tiger down on the bottom lane, starts to bring it across towards the tier 2. Liquid trying to just set up the map to go for another high ground siege, get all these lanes in position.
Yeah, you can see the wards from Liquid as well, right? Straight outside of Radiant's base. They want to keep them confined in their own high ground. They want to farm everything around it, and just if anyone pokes his head out, Boxy is there to cut it off.
They're prepared here for Armel. Armel's going to show himself, but indeed the move, Boxy reads it all. He's there, ready and waiting to punish Armel for trying to go for the split push. Armel, has he got anywhere playing his way out of this? It doesn't look like it. Another crush comes into place, tries to slide away, but the two of them take down Lina. As Liquid are just continuing to toy with TNC each time they push out these side lanes. Tiger has got the eyes on KP. We'll see if Liquid want to bring in anyone else to try for this fight again on the aggressive.
I can't blame Armel for doing that on the top lane. As Alina, as Alina with Pyke and Travels, you have to be trying to find some space for yourself to go on different sides of the map.
KP's walking in, but he's walking into 4 heroes. He's in a whole world of trouble. He pops the Ghost Scepter, will save him a little bit of time against the physical damage. They just turn over towards March. KP has managed to create the distance. He may live, as he looks like he will. The Ghost Scepter was enough to save him.
Insania there used his nuke one last time when Mickey dropped him super low, but the Chain Frost wasn't really bouncing any longer. He was fine.
And time to gear up for another push. Gabby does have the Aghanims. He's got that gap closed, but at this point, is it enough? Already Liquid's Drow lineup has come into full power in terms of the pushing potential. Mickey's got the Eagle Song. He's on the way to having that butterfly at a very good speed. Gabby will be able to take away the stock of wards and that smoke that was on its way out to Insania. So maybe a bit of a chance for TNC to try and regain some map control, but it's very hard with the way that Liquid is just keeping TNC forced into their base. TNC are able to get out in the top half. They look towards controlling that outpost, make sure they have at least one of them coming into this 30 minutes, and they'll be able to do so.
But you know, there's Slardar. He goes so fast from one side of the map to the other through that river, and they have to back out. You can't really stay on that top lane. Sometimes you see heroes just hiding. You see players hiding in the trees, waiting for someone to pop out so that they can finish him off quickly, but they don't even have the burst necessary, and that's strange. You're playing Galena, but you don't have a burst necessary to take down these targets fast.
He's in, and he did clip Tiger with the dust. Tiger is trying to juke. There'll be another pounce from Gabby that he's going to be able to use to go across the tree line. He makes the wrong call. Wonders if Tiger's head over to the north. It's not going to be the case, so Tiger will manage to escape. He's also got the Blink Dagger, so now an extra way to avoid those sort of attempts from TNC to catch him out.
Slark has a couple of good neutral items. He's found Ring of Aquila and Mindbreaker. Together with that Aghanims, perhaps now he will be able to jump into the fight, maybe even catch Insania off guard and bring him down super fast.
And TNC, they're definitely still pretty strong. They're only 6k down, and they know the best way for them to take a fight is outside of their base. So they catch with the smoke. This poor old Sada, the stun's still down. Do they have enough damage? It's going to take them a long time. They still trying, Gabby, to stay on top of Boxy, but they can't quite do it. Boxy can get himself away. KP utilized the Doom onto the Drow. Gabby's going to continue to fight on. Gets the pounce connection onto Insania. A kinetic field will trap him. Insania still with the rest of his team around, but they're going to let him go. He'll use the false promise on himself. Gabby is able to get a lot of damage done onto him. Tiger in with the newly found Blink, sets up with the overgrowth and pounce away, keeps Gabby safe. They lose the support for a support. Insania and March will fall. Liquid still continuing to chase. KP's out with the TP, and so is Tim's. TNC, the rest of them will escape.
They take a decent fight there, even though they initiated on Boxy. I thought that might be much worse for them. But the MVP of that fight, even though he started it off wrong onto the Slardar, was this Disruptor. Because later on, Boxy was about to re-engage, but Tims, he kept his cool and he glimpses him back across the other side of the map, so that there's no bashes coming and they can completely retreat to their base.
Liquid, they've got to be careful. I mean, you sort of look at the state of this game. They have this lead. We've seen this story all too many times before from Liquid. The question is, how reliably can they turn this lead into a win? Mickey's still in that massive position as this Drow, 17.5k net worth. He's incredibly huge, But down the line, these heroes on TNC, when they start to get their next few items in...
I think it's already there. I think TNC has hit that power spike in which they're able to take down targets if they find them. At least if it's not Boxy. You're not taking down Boxy if Oracle is in any vicinity. So if you find a Drow Ranger, Viper, or anyone else, you can take them down.
No, it's definitely still scary for Liquid, despite the lead they have. You just have to look at Gabby. He's not died at all this game. His game has been flawless. Sure, the pressure's been on. They have taken that mid-Rax. But Liquid definitely not out of the woods quite yet. They'll go for another smoke move, Liquid.
They have a Blink Dagger on Taiga too, so they have multiple ways of initiating, and they might catch TNC here.
And I'm looking for Roche. See if this is scouted out. The courier's there, so they know that this is up. They tried to go for the smoke into Roche, but TNC, they're going to start heading over. Can they get there in time? They cannot. Oh, they try and slide in, but already Dire, they've got the Roche kill, and Mickey's grabbed the Aegis.
Now they're on the hunt.
Thunder Strike on a Boxy to try and stop him from being able to blink in, but Tiger is able to get forward with the Overgrowth, catches out Tims, turns towards KP. Mickey, he's falling pretty fast though in the standing storm. Mickey is in trouble with the false promise. Insania saves him just in time. They turn. Gabby just gets destroyed immediately. Gabby does not have buyback. He's 300 gold short. This may be it for Liquid here, as they've just turned up with that Aegis straight off the back of the Roche fight. They get the key kills, 4 dead on TNC, only KP with buyback. Liquid, they should be able to take quite a bit from them with this time.
I love the way they assessed their problems and dealt with them perfectly. This Boxy was their only form of initiation, but he was always handled. He was always dotted either by Disruptor or Lich. However, Taiga itemized with that blink, and there you go, they call it.
Without the buybacks, they don't have a chance to hold, as Liquid will do it here in this game one, taking the victory.
34 minutes in, Liquid take it deep.
I wanted this new Liquid. What's wrong with them?
What happened?
Yeah, not a bad way to end the game at all. Liquid already showing that they've certainly learned from not necessarily the mistakes, but the interesting way that they approached the game in some of the previous series. This win, a much, much smoother one. As
they picked Drow into a Slark, and they looked super confident with their draft. I think the way they set up their lanes was also flawless. They gave Boxy the space that he needed. They ran him on the safe lane, then they rotated towards that Doom lane. Doom that was crushed because Mickey, he had like 3 kills off of that laning stage.
Yeah, it was a tough one for TNC to sort of hold themselves in. They definitely gave it their best shot. We saw right up until the end, Gabby hadn't really died. The problem was that the speed of Liquid's lineup was just a little too fast for TNC to deal with. And I mean, going into this second game now, the question is, do they get away with another sort of Drow Viper fast-paced lineup, or do you think TNC is going to have some answers?
I think TNC has to reassess the strength of Disruptor, because if you're picking that hero, you need to be on the hunt. You can't be the hunted, because that's where that glimpse actually becomes useful. But if they're always jumping you, that glimpse doesn't work really well. So maybe think about these matchups a little bit more.
Well, we'll see what TNC is going to be able to try and hit back against Liquid with in Game 2. But as it stands, Liquid will take Game 1 of this best of 3.
Hollywood, it's just a lifestyle. The food, the parties, the weather is so good. And I mean, it's not just the temperature. The people here are so freaking hot.
Coming for your boat.
It's getting hot in here.
めてあなたの声聞いたとき私はまだ若かった今聞いてもまだ胸がドキドキする毎日レインボーシャインジャパンが恋のラジオ GO! 私
we said Team Liquid had was closing out games, and it seems like they might just have fixed that problem. Fogged, Cap, Grant, Liquid, they ran with it. It looked very even throughout the first bit of the game. Let's just try to break that down, because the first 5 minutes we had 10 kills, and the next 5 we didn't have any. Like, what happened this game?
Yeah. Drow Ranger is a pretty strong hero, and they built around it beautifully. They had, I mean, first of all, TNC gave them Train Protector again, which works really good in Drow lineups because Overgrowth is a very powerful frontlining ability. They also had a nice combination of the Slardar with the Drow Ranger, making multi-shot look overpowered.
Because can you explain how it works?
I mean, it actually just looked broken because, like, you see targets who get Frost Shield, but Frost Shield only affects against physical attacks, not physical spell attacks, since multi-shot is that one. So targets were getting Frost Shield and just dying almost instantly. That last fight, the Slark died in like 3 or 4 hits, something like that. But starting from the beginning, I love the lane setup. I think the way the Liquid set it up
I have a question.
Awesome.
Yes.
So if you're saying that Frost Shield doesn't help for multi-shot, right? Does Corrosive Haze from the Slardar, does that help?
Yes.
That's
it
why
makes
it's
it
so
even
good.
stronger.
Oh, that's weird.
Yes,
and
it's
it was
real good. She was two-shotting people pretty much with it on,
Okay. Sorry for interrupting.
The lanes, though, I agree.
No, the lanes, I love the setup. Having like the tree and the Drow Ranger, they dodged the matchup, and they actually got what they wanted. They were against the Doom, which I think was exactly what they wanted to do. They shut KP down, and I think, honestly, they may have gotten into KP's head because he doomed Drow Ranger almost every single time in that game, and I'm not too sure why. Like, there was some better targets for him, and he just seemed to be like really focused on just dooming Mickey.
I also like how they switched it up, and maybe TNC didn't expect it. They actually laned Taiga with Mickey, which they rarely do, so maybe they expected the lanes to be different, but, you know, they got that combination. It really did work.
Yeah, should they have swapped the lanes at this stage? Like, it felt like it was a little bit too late. Like, you already sacked the Doom. You might as well continue sacking him, because it's not going to get saved.
Yeah, I think, I mean, like, teams like Secret and stuff do that too, right? They're like sacking, like, well, it's a Doom. He'll go to the jungle. He'll farm it back up, but you're going against Liquid, who's just running at you with this Slardar, and he never could catch up.
And the lanes were going to be hard either way, right? Like, even if you do make the effort to swap, and you still find yourself in a losing situation, right? Slardar's still going to do really well against Doom, and then you have a Slark who has to deal with a Drow Ranger lane. He's not going to be happy about that either, right? So they didn't even make the effort to do so because they're like, well, what's the point?
You'd rather want to build up your Slark and just focus on like all the eggs in the Slark basket.
Yeah.
Why didn't that basket work?
I think in hindsight, going back and looking at the draft, and I see Lich, Disruptor, Lina. These are your three heroes that are going to be looking around to make plays since KP is going to get shut down, and then your Slark. It actually looks like it's going to be super difficult when you're playing against what Liquid has, when they have this run at you draft. I feel like the Slardar pick was really just such an X factor, because those three heroes, they don't like when somebody gets into your face, and that's exactly what the Slardar does. It puts Armel in an awkward position because they get right on top of him as a Lina, and Lina detests that. So, seems like it's tough.
It was tough indeed. Who do you guys think won the MVP?
Maybe Taiga, just because I think the fans still love him, and he played a very good game.
Sure.
I think it might just be that. Either that or the Slardar.
I like Boxy a lot, too, yeah. I think Tiger or Boxy sounds great.
His choice of the early blink
Drum
deck
roll,
is great.
please. Let's find out. Insania gets the MVP.
Okay.
Hey, that's fair.
I think anyone on that, like some games in a winning game, you just know who it is. And this one, it was a team effort.
I mean, it was a Boxy Insania team effort. I do think that him saving the Drow he almost killed the Drow. It was that was a perfect moment. Like, I really thought he was killing his teammate.
No, and even up top lane, they went for a gank, and he held on to his ulti and was able to save the Drow multiple times without using the ulti, which means TNC can never fully commit until that ulti's out. And like, I think Kyle said it backstage, Insania was just not trigger happy in a good way. Like, just held it back so long. It was really good.
So well-deserved MVP. Of course, remember, during the game you can vote. And it's hashtag player names. You know all the drills, and it's only voting during the game.
Not now.
Not now. So make sure you do that. But we are going to head into a game number 2 very soon. And what lessons are TNC going to focus on? What are they going to improve? Because if you look at their draft, it was great.
I didn't hate it. I didn't, yeah. Tree. Ban Tree.
Ban Tree.
Ban Tree. I think especially when it comes to like, if you look at it, you're like, oh, these are the OP heroes. These are the heroes that Liquid's really good at. I think you should focus on, like in just a general philosophy, supports first, just because it leaves your draft a lot more open. You can build a lineup that beats a Nagasarn or counters the Leshrac in some way. Lone Druid, maybe you keep that one away from Liquid's hand. Nobody else is giving it to them. But I think those other two heroes, like, I would put Tree and Protector in a higher priority because
100%.
you could fit Tree into literally any lineup.
Or they can pick Treant themselves, because hopefully they'll have first pick for the next game. Right?
Could be. Yeah.
Yep. I think Tree is definitely the biggest issue as we've seen in Liquid's. How many games now in a row have they won? They won the 3, and they've picked Tree on the starter. It's looked really good.
Yeah, they 2-0'd Na'Vi, and then they had Treants,
And then it's a hard point for them to be in because their Doom feels countered, right? Because of the fact that they're willing to pick up this Oracle so early, and it's even worse than playing against an Omni Knight or an Abaddon. A hero that is lowest in net worth priority counters you as a core. Like, you feel bad about dooming an Omni Knight. It feels worse dooming an Oracle just to try and stop that save.
Also, we talk about that bottom lane, the Frost Arrows plus the Tree. It was like 125 move speed with level 1 Frost Arrow and the Tree, so I'm like, what the hell?
Well, I don't think we're going to see Tree next game. But to be sure, we gotta go into that draft. But before we do get into the draft, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Great Gaming Esports, professional esports housemaker.
Multiple witnesses have reported mysterious shadow sightings all around the city. According to experts, the origin of these shadows is
the campaign, hustle, make a billion. It's all grind and no play. You wanna live, you trade your days away. My cheat codes don't work. Got the grades, but still I'm a store clerk. But I'm fine cause I got plans. Wrote them down on the back of my hand. I strive for all my life without a worthy cause. Hard work about 2/3, still seem to make a loss. Hey, hey, one day they'll ease me in. When you're invisible, maybe I'll find comfort in my skin. Dream big, that's what mama said. Have faith, you can make it. We set out, fearless, but we all got lost in the wilderness. Is this world for the taking? We're sold out cause we all want the same thing. Big house, fast car, what you own ain't the person you are. I strive for all my life without a worthy cause. Hard work about 2/3, still seem to make a loss. Hey, hey, one day they'll ease me in. When you're invisible, maybe I'll find comfort in my skin. Roll them down on the back of my hand. Roll them down on the back of my. Roll them down on the back of my hand. Roll them down on the back of my hand. I strive for all my life without a worthy cause. Hard work about 2/3, still seem to make a loss. Hey, hey, one day they'll ease me in. When you're invisible, maybe I'll find comfort in my skin. 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 Maybe I'll find comfort in my skin.
The defending major champions are with their backs against the ropes here in Leipzig, and we're going to find out if they get forced out. Game number 3, we are ready for the draft between Liquid and TNC. And Liquid did make game number 1 look on the easy side for them. So we'll see if TNC will pose more of a challenge in game number 2. We got some bans going on already. And as said, Turing Protector not going to be an option for Taiga there.
Yes. Good
Adjustment.
ban.
Yes.
The draft's already a lot better.
Just one ban in. Yes.
That's it. And then they don't ban the lone druid, and then it's all out the door. We'll see. We will see.
Well, as said, though, they do have first pick this time round, so they could have let Treant in to pick it themselves, but they still prefer to ban it. They do also ban out that lone druid, though. Gotta do it against Koikfa.
I'm trying to think, what else? The ones, so who did they ban last time? They banned a Lesh.
Last time, TNC banned out Lone Druid, Leshrac, and Naga Siren.
Okay, so Naga or Lesh, no matter what, is getting through then?
I prefer the Lesh ban, personally.
Okay.
I think Naga Siren is something that you can deal with.
Particularly since you have first pick anyway, like very likely Liquid is going to be forced to ban Disruptor to prevent you from getting that combination.
Yeah.
And for Liquid, by the way, they banned out the Enchantress and the Omni Knight and the IO. So Enchantress still in the pool of those three as well.
I think you get rid of it. March showed he can play very well. You also have to draft around. He was the 5-position Ench and couldn't even die to the solo carry every single fight. That hero is pretty good.
Ah, okay. So they thought this. I mean, the Slardar was such a big problem, and Boxy is making it look really good. So yeah, I mean, the ban does make sense, and it leaves. I guess it just leaves all of those other options out in the pool rather than you having to like pick and choose. Now we're probably gonna have to watch out for one team getting that Naga Disruptor though. So you're gonna have to have a solution.
It also means Doom is made a lot stronger, so if Liquid do ban away the Disruptor, then TNC will feel a bit better about that pickup. Because I think I'm trying to think of, out of all the offlaners, I think Slardar is the one who would go 1-to-1 against Doom the best.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Doom, he hates playing versus negative armor. That hero has like no armor. So I think that's something maybe people might have been sleeping on for a long time. I think this Slardar hero actually is something that maybe other teams are going to start looking at and valuing after we see these last few games.
So they do take away the Enchantress per your suggestion, Grant, and that means Doom, Disruptor, and what are some of the other heroes?
I mean, the thing is, like, you kind of want to take Disruptor, right? Because you don't want to get Naga Disruptored.
Unless you have some sort of answer to it, but it seems unlikely.
Yeah. But you're also now giving up Lesh, too, if Liquid does want that one. So it's like...
Yeah, so you don't actually feel that good about Disruptor into Naga Siren second pick because you're very likely playing into the Lesh rack.
Playing into the Lesh, yeah.
They're gonna do it anyway.
But you like almost have to take it or else they
Yep, the Oracle, Lesh rack instantly.
Yeah, but that does mean that TNC can get their hands on the Naga and the Disruptor.
You've got the best counter to it.
Yeah, Lesh is amazing versus those illusion heroes, so...
Not the end-all be-all, but I do like the opening,
Yeah.
Really clever by Liquid.
Yeah, and Liquid didn't have to use any bonus time for that TNC. They thought a long time before picking up the Disruptor.
Is it just me or you feel like Liquid, they always have a really solid strategy with their openers?
Yeah.
I wonder if this is something that Insanity and Blitz just work on a lot.
Wouldn't doubt it.
And the Chen.
Okay.
Wow.
The adjustment. So pressure the lane more. Since Oracle's lane can be a little bit weird at times, Chen is just the king. He also can always just make sure that you get the right lanes.
Exactly.
Because he can just, I like to call it the rapture, because that's what the ability is called. Use it on people. He raptures people across the map. It's the teleport.
But it does mean that you don't have any questions, rather, like, which are your 4 and 5? Like, this is your 4 and 5.
The Disruptor, I know people are going to play, but I really don't think you know just from the first two. If I see the third pick, then I'll get it to you. I've seen Thompson play it. I've been seeing other people in pubs as well last night started playing it. You do got to be worrisome because Disruptor does decent versus some people middle because your nuke's so good early and you get the range creeps. But I agree, most likely it's a 4 or 5.
I think Disruptor as a core has more merit against Leshrac, surprisingly, but less merit because of Oracle.
Yes.
You know, when you're being hard countered by a support, that just kind of sucks.
But I guess also a good thing is if your Disruptor's middle, that Oracle's not going middle to dispel any of your nukes or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that is true. But in the game.
The game.
Fake Edict is still, so strong.
Damn good.
I just a little bit worry about, for whatever reason I see this Chen, it makes me think of that Beastmaster plus, what was it? And there was just a bunch of neutrals all over the place, and like a Magnus just coming in and like killing everything all the time.
That was the EG game, and they just kept feeding him like 400 gold Ramses Beastmaster,
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, let's hope for TNC they don't have to deal with the Magnus coming out from Liquid. Liquid's last ban being the Naga.
Why not?
I think it's because I think the Chen makes it something that can be a little bit more viable, just because you secure the lane so well, and you can even, it's not as good anymore, but you can get things to deal with it, like those little centaurs and stuff like that, to deal with the Lesh. And
what are we thinking? Probably your 4 here on Liquid. Get a playmaker.
Yeah, I think something doesn't reveal too much because right now you don't see any cores on TNC, so your core matchups.
I mean, Doom's still in.
Yes. But you still want to keep it a secret, like where Lesh is going to go, right? Because he's viable in so many different positions.
On Liquid, they do play it on all three. They actually play it mostly on Mickey, and then they played it on Boxy yesterday.
Yep, and they played it on Koikfa the day before, so it's like, it's all over the place.
They're taking a lot of time. This is always the longest pick. Per normal, though, you got the ban, you got the pick. This sets up for the rest of the draft.
Yep. What could they be discussing right now? Which heroes are passing their comms?
We got banned.
Probably a Taiga hero, right?
I would like it.
At this point, you want to keep that Leshrac still a little bit open, so Earthshaker, nice team fighting hero.
Oh, PL and Slark are not very good for the TNC.
Yeah.
Pretty tough to pick either one of those now versus this. Yeah. So I think the Lifestealer probably gets rated even higher now for TNC versus these three. He's actually really good versus all three.
And we've seen Lifestealer is actually really good with Leshrac cores as well, so it's a possibility for both sides.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I don't know, how much do you guys like Lifestealer, honestly, as like a hero right now?
I like him a lot. I think he's been developed a lot more at this tournament and the last, when people just started doing the phase into the instant javelin, into the very fast maelstrom, because you actually farm just so fast. I do think it's definitely possible versus, Lesh and Shaker. Because you're going to have to reveal some core, right? Like she was saying, you already have your two supports, you got to show something here.
And it feels like before, honestly, I would say TNC would 100% pick Doom, but after that last game, right, it just feels like you can't, so they take an Abba.
I do really like the KP Abaddon. I think we've seen it before where he just gives people a run around, is not afraid to die.
I think all their strategies are kind of counter except for the Drow Ranger. I think that's like the only carry that they've run. Because you don't want to run OD against Leshrac. You don't want to run the Slark Phantom Lancer that you talked about. There's no Naga Siren. So most of the TNC strats that I remember, they're kind of all out the window.
So do you like Drow? Say they do pick the Drow into Oracle, Leshrac, or Shaker. You don't feel too bad about it?
I think you like the damage on the Leshrac, but it's still a little scary.
Feels okay, just because they can't really reach so far, right? Like Earthshaker has to get a blink dagger to actually reach to you. I mean, it sounds okay. Sounds pretty decent. And you have a Chen, right? Chen Abaddon, you can actually get this push going pretty fast if you do have a good laning phase, if they do try to go for a Drow. Yeah, I think Drow or Lifestealer look pretty solid.
Man, they were really taking their time. Any cheese heroes still in this pool that you think we'd see? Obviously, the Huskar's out, Brood's still in it. They go Pango.
Ooh, the Boxy Pango.
That's a lot of team fight now. They have
so much damage, too.
So much damage in team fight.
Yeah. He was the MVP in the game against Na'Vi, of course, as well, on the Pango.
Every time they initiated, he was already jumping on top of them. And you have a cast time on your ulti, and he was already on.
It was already rolling.
It was actually nutty.
He, when it comes to team fights, his effectiveness is really high because there's so far only one hero he has to worry about. That's the Glimpse of Disruptor and then the Static Storm to stop you from getting off your Rolling Thunder. But at the same time, I think Abaddon is supposed to win that matchup against you, and then if they get another safe laner that beats Pango, he could have a hard laning phase because he's got an Earthshaker. But you have a hard enough laning phase, then you just start doing Fissure blocking and creep pulling, and then eventually Earthshaker just kind of leaves you alone.
Yeah, that's probably the case, right? That's probably why they wanted the Shaker first before. Dude, Pango is actually stabbing Shaker in the drafting screen. His sword is going right through Earthshaker, if you look at that.
Oh, come on, don't do it to him.
It's pretty scary.
Don't worry, people at home don't see these brutalities.
And that's why you should come out. You should come to the show here.
That's right. All these are getting treated to a Pango stabbing Earthshaker.
That's right.
I bet that's what they were waiting for.
They said there's only 10 more tickets left. So if you want to come be a part of this.
And I just bought 5 of them.
Grant's going to be outside selling them.
Lifestealer coming out.
Yeah, I think this one was Telltale. It had to be either this or Drow. I think this one fits a little bit better for me just because you can get in the face of those other three. Like Oracle, Lash, and Earthshaker, this is a very good Lifestealer game.
So the last time they had almost this exact same lineup, they broodmothered for Liquid. So something TNC needs to be aware of. Make sure you ban that.
Looks like a hot
heroes.
Looks like a hot broodmother game too.
Yeah.
Your last pick,
if
TNC picks something that makes it look even better,
Dude, but getting eliminated by a Brood last
It would be
pick feels
instant
so
pick,
bad.
too. If it's a bad Brood hero, it'll be instant picked by them, I'm sure.
And they don't have a whole lot of lockdowns, so I think Morphling looks pretty good too.
They love that.
Yeah, I mean, TNC stunts are it's just disruptive.
Non-existent?
Non-existent. It's a kinetic field, which is in the stun.
And it's all possible because of the flex pick the less track, right? We know that it can be played on several different people.
So Liquid, look at that. They banned literally the mid hero that gives you the most disables. Coil and silence.
I agree with that more 100%, especially because the OD ban is there too. It's set up so perfectly versus these heroes of PNC.
So it's more for Brood.
It's either more for Brood, I think, for Liquid.
Which one do you ban? What's pick your poison type scenario?
I would still probably rather play versus a Morphling than a Brood.
At least there's something you can do.
Would. Yeah, at least you can try, yeah. Instead you're just the Disruptor Chen, you just die.
Oh, they ban out the Slark.
Okay, well.
Okay.
What if you did an old Storm Spirit Lifestealer bomb? I guess it's not nearly as good as it used to be, huh?
Yeah, not as strong. We have seen some team. We've seen one team at least in particular use that in Fest.
I want them to get into the back line though. I just don't know what that can do. What hero?
You need something mobile, but you also need something that won't just get dumpstered by an Earthshaker roaming on you with the possibility of a Lesh stun, right? You get stunned once, you get stunned twice, you're dead.
Yeah.
They might just, I don't know. I don't like anything really, but Queen of Pain stands out to me.
Okay.
Only got 7 seconds.
All of it, yeah.
SF kind of stands out for me. But
That's a Templar assassin.
TA, the last rack.
I didn't want that.
And Tango.
I don't like that. Oh.
I'm not. They have no control. They literally, everything, it's like, whoever's playing Disruptor, which is probably Tim's, it's like, dude, this game is all on you to make plays and catch people, because besides that, they have nothing.
It's a morph.
And there's a morph.
Look at Blake smiling. He said free morph. He
free morph game.
literally
Free morph
said free
game.
morph.
To be fair, TNC almost don't care what that last pick is, because if you look at their lineup, just don't look at the other side of the lineup. This is the lineup that's just looking to snowball really fast.
Yeah, that morph is crippling after their first 4 heroes.
All right, guys, let's find out what's going to happen in this game too. Boys, take him away.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's time for game 2 now between TNC and Liquid. Lizard, what do you expect to see from this one? Liquid, they were able to run over the first game pretty quickly. Bit of a different approach, right? We're falling back onto the Morphling, something that they've proven to be very, very strong with. Mickey, one of his best heroes. And as the panel said, it looks like a pretty good Morph game.
It looks like comfort zone for both of these teams. Elimination, and you have Morphling on one side, you have Pango, Boxy. Boxy in that last series, man, he was on fire with his Pangolier. He was doing 3-man rolls every single time. He also found that clumsy net that allowed him to continuously stun targets. He was really good. I was thinking Morphling or Broodmother as the last pick for Liquid, and they go with the Morphling. I think that matchup suits them really well. You're playing versus an IX, why not?
And for TNC, obviously, as talked about during the draft, they don't really have the best sort of lockdown and catch. It's all on the Disruptor. Why?
Okay.
Why? For TNC, how are they going to make action happen? How are they going to make plays with only Disruptor being the sole sort of lockdown?
This is the thing. they have insane sustain on their side. There's the Abaddon and there's the Chen as well. Then you have TA and Nikes. These heroes have super early power spikes which they can use to push down and take down objectives. Then you don't need catch for that. As they're trying to defend, if Liquid tries to defend towers, you have that glimpse to catch them off guard, to bring them back to the tower, take them together with those objectives. I think the lineup sets a straight strategy for TNC which they have to follow. But if they stray a little bit, if Mickey finds a couple of extra kills and space to farm, he can just be a beast in this game.
And in terms of the lanes at the start, is there a particular lane that you feel that TNC is going to have quite an edge in?
I think the lanes are pretty solid for Liquid overall. You have Oracle once again on Insania. They really value this pick quite a lot, specifically versus the Disruptor, because you just purge his Thunderstrike and the hero isn't nearly as strong as he should be. So if you're TNC, probably you need to move that Disruptor away from the Oracle. But the lanes should be alright for them. No stomps. I don't see any stomps happening here in the laning stage.
Yeah, I mean, because in the mid matchup, Koifa versus Armel, we saw Koifa in that last game have a bit of a slow start against Armel's Lina. This Lesh versus TA, is there a way that you see this one going?
I think Koifa will be completely fine. TA, it's a normal TA matchup in which she gets a couple of items, go back into the jungle, gets that Desolator, just continues farming. I don't see him really being contested too much in the laning stage.
Do you think it's going to be a problem for TNC that they do have, like, you know, with the... Koifa's got to be careful, they're taking a few side blades. But having Armel, TA, and this Gabby lifestealer, I imagine both of these heroes, there's going to be this early point of the game where they're both going to want to farm, right? They're not going to be that ready to fight that early on.
They might... That can happen, definitely. It also depends on the lifestealer and the way he itemizes. We have seen a couple of straight Maelstroms, but he can also go phase boots Maelstrom. And with those two items, when you have support from Abaddon and all the Chen creeps, the Chen heal, you're already able to help out in the pushes. So I think they shouldn't be struggling way too hard when it comes to the power spikes and their timings.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll see how quickly Liquid are able to start bringing the fight to them, as obviously they themselves will want to be buying a lot of space time for Mickey's Morph in the early half of this game.
You can see the lane stage on the middle lane. Armel has a couple of extra denies, which is to be expected, and he is doing quite well versus Koifa, all on the back of those Psyblades constantly connecting, but Armel, he's just super talented.
He's going to get the help of Tim's coming in as well, picks up an Arcane Rune, so we'll have a few Thunder Strikes to spam onto Koifa, and indeed in a lane far away from the Oracle, so those Thunder Strikes will be effective to maximum.
One really decent thing for Liquid is the fact that Pango can solo lane. And because of that, it frees up this Shaker to rotate across the map, go mid or perhaps even bottom. I think that might favor Liquid quite heavily.
Yeah, trading pretty evenly with Gabby in that 1v1. 7-4 on Gabby, 6-2 on Boxy. So pretty close between the two of them. The regen does get sniped away. Tim's able to get in and stop that from getting out to Koifa in the middle lane. So we'll have to play very carefully. You can see Tim's as well. Yeah, they're playing aggressive now. They know that Koifa hasn't got regen available.
They're really focusing on Koifa a lot. And I like this. I like this from TNC. If they're to win this second game, they need to pressure Koifa quite a lot.
Boxy there nearly catching Gabby, but Gabby able to juke it out, heads out of the trees, doesn't get cleared. The mid lane, Armel diving in.
This is not the way.
Far too aggressively. I mean, sure, Koifa didn't have regen. Armel wanted to punish it, but diving like that and giving up first blood, that was not the plan.
But that's all about this Shaker. He's not on the top lane because he doesn't have to assist the Pango. It frees up the map for him to rotate, and he comes mid while the TA is diving, helps out Koifa, and they get that first blood. It's so important for Koifa to be that stable front-lining wall for the side of Liquid, because he will be the one creating space for Morphling comes mid-game. He needs to be the playmaker. He needs to be the one that pressures objectives, and he needs to be the one that the game is revolved around.
Now Tim's just going to continue his wanders across the map. We'll now go back up top, help Gabby a little bit, who sure was farming safely, but at the same time wasn't able to really slow down what Boxy was getting out of the lane. This off-lane Pango having that solo lane and solo farm very easily.
Yep. things have changed when it comes to the offlane Pango since he has been added to the game. He had really low attack damage. He's been buffed a little bit, but most importantly, he has that swashbuckle to work with, as always. And if you try to commit a couple of heroes on that lane, he'll just creep skip, and it's just not good for you.
Back in the mid lane, despite that early death, you see Armel CS continues to be very far ahead of that of Koikfus. 24-12 against the 14-3. Armel, once again, he's when he gets to sort of this level 5 stage of the matchup, he just seems to come out on top pretty much in most of the situations against Koikfa.
I didn't expect him to completely dominate Koikfa the way he's managed to. Maybe the net worth isn't too far apart because of that first blood.
Koikfa. Again, it's Armel he's playing it perfectly with the aggression. Sure, other than that very aggressive dive and giving up the kill, overall it hasn't really mattered because of how well he's pushing Koikfa away from the lane and keeping Koikfa in a situation where he's having to constantly ferry regen out to himself.
All 4 bounty runes taken by TNC as well.
You can see that already 5 minutes in. It's a 2k lead for TNC because of how well they're out farming Liquid in the lanes. That mid lane being the biggest difference at the moment. We saw obviously at the end of the game it didn't matter too much that Koikfa had a slow start. We'll see if that's going to be the same case this game, as you can expect that Armel on the TA, this is a hero that he can take over the game on. So Liquid have got to be a little worried that this TA is having such a good time in that middle lane.
They're trying to pressure Mickey here, but it's not really happening. He still has around 30 CS. He has 2 raid bands. I believe the third one might be flying over as well. And after that, he can even fight you off or kill you if you're Chen on Abaddon. They have to be careful from this moment onwards as he hits super, super hard. Not trying to get those tags, but he's just baiting, that's all. After he gets that next item, I believe he will try to move on to the aggressive even on this bottom lane.
They can look for the play on mid, looking to try and catch Armel. They blocked him off with the Fisher. They head in with the stun. TPs will be coming in to try and save Armel. He's running away, and it looks like they don't have the damage to take him down. KP, he offers up a shield, and Armel will be fine. They did not have enough control and damage between the two of them on Liquid to get the kill done, and Armel would just continue to completely free farm and dominate this mid lane.
40 CS. That's just insane. He's doing super well. He's going to have that Desolator and Blink Dagger on time, and that's important for TNC, because you were wondering about their ability to reach those power spikes on time.
It's speeding up already for TNC. To have a 3k lead at 7 minutes, this sort of pressure, it's definitely going to be scary for this Morphling lineup.
Mickey needs to be careful. This is one of the most annoying creeps to get his Chen. He has the Harpy, and with those nukes, even though they're not as strong as before, they can take down the Morphling if he's low on strength.
Koikfa in the jungle. I mean, Tims is going to find him.
He tried to glimpse him away from the jelly.
He's going to be able to mess with Koikfa a little bit. Koikfa is going to try and chase, as he knows that Tims alone cannot quite kill him off, but still Tims being a bit of a nuisance for Koikfa, as Koikfa tried to get some peace and quiet in the jungle.
Just check the net worth. 3 cores of TNC, 1k ahead of their respective opponent heroes. Yeah,
it couldn't have gone any better, really, these lanes. TNC, after such a great start, every single lane allowing their cores to benefit massively. And that is the scare, that's the power of TNC's lineup. As you said, sure, they don't have a lot of catch, but when it comes to just grouping up and pushing, it could be hard for Liquid's heroes to deal with that.
That's the thing as well. You see this Chen, he's 2k net worth, he's rushing that Mac. You're going to have Mac Chen, his ulti, you're going to have Abaddon. They will just become a snowball machine very, very soon if Liquid doesn't make some moves and change the state of the game.
Mid lane, Liquid, they're going to try and make a play again. They're going for the lead in, they can't quite get in under the tower. Tiger throws out the Fisher, but they can't get on top of Tims. Tims staying right by the tier 1. He'll head over, find Armel, but now Armel, he's just going to turn onto Tiger. Tims will have the damage and control as Tiger, he's going to fall. Armel able to get the last touch, so more gold to propel him towards what's going to be an incredibly fast Deso timing this game. And top lane, I mean, Gabby, he's just diving in onto Boxy, past the tower. Boxy's trying for the juke, he's got Swashbuckle back up, so we'll be fine. But Liquid, they're definitely seemingly very weak in all aspects of the game so far. Across the map, it's hard for them to make moves happen because of how far TNC are ahead.
The problem that I see coming for them as well is the fact that they're weak. They didn't do the laning stage properly, and because of that, this position 4 will not have space to find his farm. I wonder when will the Shaker find that Blink Dagger? That Blink Dagger, if it came soon, if he had a successful first couple of minutes, if he got a couple of kills, maybe he would get that Blink Dagger, and an early Blink Dagger on a Shaker just breaks any snowballing kind of a lineup, right? But in this sort of a game, I don't see it happening. I don't see it coming anytime soon.
The wave pushed in on top. Gabby's farm continues to go without any sort of pressure. We haven't really seen Liquid look to do anything up top. It's very hard for them to make moves upon him. Anytime they do go, they'll have the rage. And you know that KP's always going to be quick with the TP to help out the mid or the top lane, whoever gets gone upon. So all in all, hard for Liquid to really push TNC out of this comfort that they hold on to this lead with. Now I'm going to try and mess around with Mickey a little bit as he goes for this outpost. A quick glimpse to cancel the channeling. KP starts to force him away.
They can get it now as well.
As Liquid, they don't have any way to stop it. We do see the chain go down. TNC claim the bottom outpost, and now Mickey's trying to punish. He goes in onto Tims. Tims goes straight for the TP out. They do have the stun ready to cancel him, but quite for sweeping across, he'll pick up the second kill.
They got the 2 kills, and I think this is a perfect timing for Liquid to strike, because even though TNC are ahead, they still didn't get level 6 on their supports, and they didn't use that tome. Because of that, Leshrac was able to kill down March first and then help out with the Disruptor kill as well. Maybe TNC shouldn't have contested that outpost that heavily, but capturing 2 outposts as well, 10 minutes in, gives them a lot of experience, and considering how poor in experience the supports of Liquid are, I think that's strategically very solid plan.
Absolutely. That's now. Got to be careful of Armel. He goes for the Blink Dagger first this game, ready to get aggressive.
There you go. That's another way of dealing with those power spikes that we talked about earlier. Getting that Blink Dagger on TA early on isn't really something that most TA players do. And the reason is simple. You get that Blink Dagger. If you don't find kills, if you don't make use of it, you fall off super heavily. So Armel, he has to be careful about the way he uses this Blink Dagger, and he needs to make some stuff happen. He needs to be the playmaker now.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. He knows that he's got heroes on his team that are able to fight with him. Tims is always going to be there with the grab. He can play aggressive, Armel, because of KP on the Abaddon. Having that Aphotic Shield each time to give him that extra bit of safety and burst if they do try and turn and disable the TA. Armel is going to start poking at this. Mickey very easily able to shift up into the strength and will back off. It does force him away from this tower though, and between the 3 of them, they've got a lot of pushing potential. This tier 1 starting to fall, and very unlikely Liquid's going to be able to do anything about this.
Well, Liquid will try to split push, and you can see Koikwa already on the mid lane. However, Disruptor is there.
And to add the numbers though, Liquid, as you saw Tiger posturing with a Fisher in case Tims did want to go for an aggressive play with the Glimpse Static Storm. Tims knew it wasn't to be the case. He holds on to his abilities and waits for a better time to use that catch.
Oh, Gabby,
he should be okay here with the rage. Is anyone going to TP over and help? It depends if Liquid want to try and dive, and they don't. Gabby's speeding up with the phase boots to get right back underneath the tower. As now KP looking towards Tiger, pushing him away from this mid. We'll see where TNC want to shift their focus towards. They definitely can look to go for the mid or the top tier 1. They're very powerful at the moment with this push.
TNC's lineup is making more and more sense, specifically now with the itemization from the TA. There aren't many top lane.
They got him. The damage is there. He's unable to TP out in time. I mean, TNC, they really are speeding things up.
There aren't many heroes who can allow you to speed things up, Owen. One of those is Wisp, Underlord, and Chen. Not only does he allow you to speed things up when it comes to taking objectives and pushing, but he gives you that recall ability, and you can move across the map and make these pushes and deep pushes much, much easier.
Yeah, just an excellent way to see TNC approach this game too. A 5k lead, slowly taking over map control.
I was
just
surprised.
Closing in the sort of the areas where Mickey can safely farm. It's a lot harder for the Morph to get out now.
I was surprised by the ease of execution of Liquid in that first game, and now TNC are doing very, very similarly.
Quite fun. Going to be walked upon by the two, and then Gabby and Tim's looking to go on him. He's got the safety of Insania. Quick jump into the Disruptor. They're trying to back off a little bit, TNC. The rest of TNC will come across, but the angle's there for Boxy to get the Rolling Thunder across onto the three of them. Again onto Gabby. Gabby, he's out of mana and he's out of health. Gabby will fall. Tim's cannot escape either as they nuke him down in the pit. Liquid able to strike back, take the 2 lives of TNC.
I'm wondering, why did they go on to the high ground like that? They moved onto the shrine, onto the high ground without any vision, and they instantly got punished. They tried to go for the Lash, but when you see Insania backing him up, you can't kill Koikwa. There's no way. They had similar problems in that first match too. Doom was constantly dooming the Drow Ranger instead of somehow getting on top of that Oracle and eliminating him and his defensive threat first.
It's very, very hard for TNC to move aggressively onto high ground situations if they don't have vision of the Oracle, right? They have to make sure they know exactly where Insania is.
Yep.
Otherwise, he's going to be there with the saves every time. We saw him do it in game 1, and that's the reason why Liquid are very happy to pick it up as that first pick here in game 2. Top lane, Gabby does manage to get in time, knocks a bit of money away from Liquid, getting the deny on the tower.
One of the bad things when you're playing a snowball type of a lineup is if you make a couple of mistakes, it just all falls apart. And when you're playing versus someone like Mikey's Morphling, you have to be careful to minimize your mistakes because he will just take any advantage and use it incredibly well.
I mean, if TNC slow down like sort of any little bit, this game is going to start to evolve into that territory that the panel talks about of it being a very, very good Morphling game. TNC, they've got to keep this pace up, and they certainly will be able to do so with Armel, continue to get such good timings on his items. He's pretty much got the money for the full Deso on top of the Blink. So this 15-minute Blink Desolator TA he's very, very ready to go. TNC have just got to start to gear up and get in position to go on the aggressive and be ready to use Armel's power to its full potential.
I love the stone as well, the Philosopher's Stone. Even though he will not use it, most likely it will be given to Disruptor or Chen. It is only 60 GPM, but when you have heroes such as Chen and Disruptor that can get super important items for your team, that's a really solid tier 2 item.
And we'll see where Armel heads with this. As I say, he's definitely going to want to try and hit Liquid hard with this brilliant timing. At the same time, though, Tiger, Blink Dagger is done. So Tiger will be on the lookout for the counter plays. Obviously, with that Blink and Deso, the TA can hurt. But if Tiger's able to get on top of her, just lock her down with the full combo of the Shaker, there will be that opportunity to bring her down, because they do have a lot of chain stun between Tiger, Quaker, and Boxy. They can lock down that TA for a good amount of duration, easily break for the refraction if KP's not around with the Aphotic Shield save.
It's especially good versus Chen on all of his creeps too, and just when you need to defend your towers, it's one of the best items to get on this specific hero. I really like the way Morphling is itemizing too. He went for that Ghost first, instantly into the E-Blade. I think that E-Blade versus TA and Nyx is obviously really good, not only as an offensive item, but as an item that can save one of your allies. Together with that Oracle, they should have enough defensive power to sustain themselves throughout.
Oh, Tiger, no messing around, jumps in, finds the Chen and his army. And March. Upon the mech. Taking a little bit of time to take down, but they will get him. Jumping with the swashbuckle, but Boxy is trapped in the static storm, and already Armel. He got Insania on the back lines, and now they're going to go to work onto Boxy. Boxy being chased, another swashbuckle, gets him a little further away, but they'll chase this. The thunder strikes upon him. Boxy, can he run? He's going to have swashbuckle again in a second, but Armel's in. Gets him across the trees. A double kill for Armel as TNC turn up full force, and that power of this early Blink Deso TA is certainly felt by Liquid, and back to mid. They may even get a further catch. Glimpse is still on cooldown for 5 seconds. It's a lot of damage from the Thunderstrike, but not enough. Quakefor will live. Bottom lane, they're trying to set up immediately onto Armel, but Armel instantly blinks away from Tiger as Tiger tried to go in with that Enchant Totem initiation rather than the Fissure. Now he'll go for the Fissure, but Armel is too far away, so TA is able to escape safely.
Maybe that wasn't the best play from Armel to go back in because he was being called from Chen. Maybe they had an opportunity there to go for this Roshan. They still will do it though. They still go into the pit immediately. They know there's no echo. Boxy is still dead.
They've got the E-Blade. McKay is going to get aggressive, tries to nuke down Tims, but the heal is enough. The Hand of God saves Tims.
Look at that, Rosh is already gone. They're moving across this map so easily because of March and his Chen.
They're playing the timings perfectly with how good of a start that Armel's had. They're doing everything they need to objectively. Halberd stun for Gabby. They've got a lot of means to go. Mickey is still, as you mentioned, it's a great E-Blade timing, but is it going to be enough to help them slow down the plays? We'd already saw him try and like throw his combo down onto Tim's, but
on the easiest target.
But with the Chen,
failed.
the heals, it's just not enough burst. TNC have the means to stop Mickey from starting the fight off with a quick kill. It's just not going to happen.
Again, it's all about Boxy, I think. Like, he is so important in these next couple of fights. Taiga, yeah, he's a one-trick pony. He's that link into Echo, into Fissure. But Boxy, he's the one that needs to continue just keeping KP checked. He needs to continue disabling him, moving him away from this fight so that they can take down literally anybody.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
See where Liquid's going to look to go. They're still just in the mode of trying to slow this game down. Allow Mickey to get his second item online, but it's going to be so hard. Armel takes the top tier 2 tower. They continue to lose further map control, Liquid.
20 seconds for the outposts, and because of that we do see Lash on the bottom lane, but top tier 3 is being attacked. Armel will back out. And it looks like outposts.
They're going to go for this Tiger. Jumps in. There's the combo. It's enough. They blow up Gabby.
That's really good.
No hesitation for Tiger to make the moves. Maybe even on the top lane, Liquid can find another. They'll throw KP up in the air for the duration of his borrowed time. The controls there from Insania. Thonic Shield will remove it. He's backing away. March heals him up with the mech. KP will live. They don't have enough to kill off the Abaddon. And meanwhile, over in the jungle, Mickey is able to nuke down a second. Tims is found.
I'm surprised by TNC. I'm surprised by Gabby and the fact that he didn't expect that gank to happen, because we did see Koikwa taking that outpost on the bottom lane. He's not going to try to do that on his own, right? And because of that, he could have expected that there's a shaker, at least a shaker nearby. Maybe he thought that they don't have enough nuke damage, but they most certainly do. With the Echo, with the E-Blade, they take him down easily. And Liquid, even though they're in a bad spot, they're finding they're finding small openings to make plays.
Yeah, they've got to be prepared for those plays and at least have, you know, KP sitting behind, or even March with the mech Hand of God, that bit of heal to offset the high amount of damage that comes out between the ES and the Morph. But now Mickey, he's going in aggressively, turns into Lifestealer, is able to use the rage, jump forward, they'll stun down Gabby, but Gabby gets the rage off in time, goes to Tiger and Armel with his BKB, he's hit it through them all, he's doing a hell of a lot of damage, they've got to get away from this TA, he'll turn, trap down, another Melon, quite for the top of Insania, he's in with a save, the false promise keeps quite for alive, Insania will lose his life for it though, and Liquid, they're still losing numbers, Armel stays on top of Insania, it's a triple kill for Armel, and TNC, they're not done yet, they'll look over towards Mickey, he hasn't got the waveform up for 5 seconds. The E-Blade buys him a bit of time. He turns with the open water wounds, trying to slow down Gabby. He's shifting into strength. He goes for the zip TP
on the cliff,
and he'll get away. They don't have the vision or the TP cancel. Mickey will live. But TNC still finding 3 kills. Maybe more as Boxy. He was playing around the mid. He's got another swashbuckle.
They don't have glimpse. He's fine. He gets out. Boxy and Mickey survive, but that fight didn't look too great for them, considering that it was the Morphling that initiated, and they fought on their own shrine. So they had help from that healing. They also had vision advantage, but still, they just couldn't fight off this huge power spike from Abaddon, from Aegis TA and the Nyx.
I mean, it's just so hard to deal with Armel. This Blink Deso BKB timing, it's been ridiculous. He's from sort of just mastering that mid lane to taking control of the entire match.
They need more.
It's so hard to deal with the TA. They've got to throw everything on her. But it's the way that Armel's been playing these fights. He's been so careful about how he commits. He always waits for sort of the slam combo to be thrown down on someone else, and then he's in with the counterplay. Jumps in with the BKB, and Liquid have nothing other than a false promise to try and save someone. But we saw in that fight, because of how strong Armel is, he's just going to kill you through the false promise, he'll pop at the end of it, and then he'll kill the Oracle as well.
They need more. They need at least that butterfly completed on the Morphling, and after that they also need maybe a Shiva's on Leshrac, maybe something that's going to allow him to survive these fights, because as you just noticed, false promise, even through that, they just collapsed on this Leshrac. It wasn't only the TA, but she dealt a significant amount of damage to take him down in the end.
That's another tier 2 tower. TNC's funds continue to rise. Gabby back to just focusing on finishing up his next 3 items, getting that Mjolnir and the Basher done.
The Basher into Abyssal is so good this game too. Gives him a little bit of reach, so he isn't kited around all the time, but it looks like we'll see a smoke from TNC in a really awkward spot. Usually that's warded by the Radiant, but they understand that they have complete control of the map.
Ooh. Very, very quick with a blink. Gets himself away from that melting from Armel. Armel He's still going to try and chase this one on a little bit. He's got the trap, so TPs are coming in from Liquid. They know they're going to be forced to fight. The Vision's there to grab him in. Tiger's got the Ghost Scepter. He'll stay alive for a little bit. Static Storm's down. Mickey's got to get himself out of it. The BKB's popped by Armel as he'll look to commit onto Tiger. Tiger will fall. Can they go for more? Another trap slow onto Mickey. Boxy's going to look to rev at the Rolling Thunder. They're looking for Armel. Armel blinks away. They'll turn for the easier targets. March is in trouble. The shield is upon him. Can they keep the channel alive? They cannot. Liquid get the March kill. TNC, they still want to fight this though. Another glimpse. Dragging back Mickey. Armel's eyeing up the perfect chance to get in. He's got Gabby as well to back him up. They've got the numbers, TNC. They surround Mickey. He's been silenced up by the passive and KP. Mickey's in trouble. False promise in play from Insania. It buys him time, but TNC, again, they're just going to chase through it. They stay forward onto Insania. Insania is dead. The rest of Liquid, can they escape? Another catch. Tim's with the glimpse back. Mickey's in trouble. He has waveform. TNC, they're going to dive Liquid right up towards the tier 3s. They want to go towards the base. Insania bites back. He's scared that his cores are in trouble, and that will stop TNC for now.
Teams is such a god on this Disruptor. Not only does he manage to catch Shaker in that fight, but after surviving the initial shotgun attempt from the Morphling, he places that Static Storm in such a great way that prevents Liquid from initiating on them. And Liquid, they wanted to fight because they understood that Armel just lost his Aegis. It was a perfect opportunity for them to take a good fight. They were about to jump everyone, but that Static Storm prevented them from having those extra 2-3 seconds in which Boxy could have stunned someone after the Leshrac Duels.
Yeah, these fights just continue to look so hard for Liquid. They've got to find a perfect jump. Pressure's on Tiger to make the big plays. They head up to the high ground out of vision, and we'll go for the smoke movement out of the map. We'll see who they find, who they can catch. At the moment, TNC pretty split up. They'll be able to get some dewarding done on the way out. See how prepared TNC are for this.
Basically, they want to at least ward the side of the map that's near Roche. They want to have some vision around it. They need to do this smoke, not only to get the pick off, but to just get out on the map, because right now they're constrained completely. The vision that they have at the moment is completely defensive, and TNC is just spreading across the map and farming everything they can.
TNC, they are now ready themselves. They're showing KP in the mid lane. Obviously not the target that Liquid want to jump on, and they won't. They're hesitating, waiting to get some more information from TNC as TNC start to bring the rest of them towards mid. Butterfly's done for Mickey. So a hefty amount of damage output on this Morph. Will it be enough? Mickey! He's been caught. They have to use the false promise immediately to buy him safety. Insania's in trouble. The burst for the offense kills him off. Insania's dead. And he's dead for 60 of the buyback on the last defense. He cannot get back into the action. Mickey will be able to get away. He's trying to turn towards KP. Another glimpse from Tim's. Continues to play around with the Morph. Liquid's got to be careful. Without Insania and without that false promise, Mickey cannot overcommit.
TNC's heroes, it looked like Mickey's E-Blade is going to be very important for him, or at least very impactful in the mid-game, but so far every single target he goes on with that E-Blade shotgun combo, it just doesn't work. There's Abaddon to save them, there's a Chen as well with the heals, with the mech, with the ulti. I'm just afraid that he needs more. He needs one more item at least, but he's always one step behind. That's the problem. He even does these morphs perfectly well. He goes in, turns into the Nyx with the rage. He tries to fight with that spell immunity, but it's still not enough. And this is another Aegis for Armel.
Now, cheese, of course, for TNC. They've got the means to go high ground now for sure. As Liquid, they've struggled the last few times. Overall, 27 minutes in 10-10. I mean, it's been very back and forth. Not an incredibly bloodthirsty game, but just consistently TNC have been the ones to just maintain this lead and continue to make the game very hard for Mickey to truly get into. His farm's still good on the Morphling. It's just not comparable though to like Armel's TA, now level 20, that extra -4 meld armor reduction. He's just going to clean up targets in a couple of hits.
You can also see that he has queued up an MKB already instantly after seeing that butterfly from the Morphling. Paladin Sword is being found as well by Armel. Probably not going to replace anything with that. Perhaps you can give it to either Abaddon or the Nyx.
BKB for Quake, so now it's another core that now could go forward, not worry too much about having to be saved immediately by Insania. As Insania at the moment, he's got his work cut out. The false promises are so important.
There's a smoke, I think I heard. yeah, from TNC. They understand that they hit this power spike in which, even though Lesh Koikwa, he did complete his BKB, they don't have the necessary damage. They don't have the necessary damage to take down the TA or the Nikes before those BKBs or Rages are procced.
We'll see who they can find here. Mickey. That's the perfect catch. He does manage to get the shift on in time, uses the E-Blade defensively to try and buy himself some time to stop Armel from hitting away or turn into the lifestealer, use the raid, go for the waveform and the TP. A heads-up play from Mickey gets him out of danger.
Mid lane. Can they take down Abaddon? He has his ult, he has Aghanims and Greater Fairy Fire. This is not a kill that they can take.
Quite for a little low on the mana as well, so we'll have to let him be.
Really great. Well played by Mickey there. I believe one of the things that maybe TNC could have done better is position that troll a little bit further away to catch Morphling once again, because I believe they used only one web on him.
Coming out here, Liquid. Again, they've got to be fully aware where the entirety of TNC is before they do look to try and get aggressive themselves. TNC just continuing to own the map and get stronger and stronger. Abyssal Ballet going to be the next stream for Gabby.
You can see that the net worth is still only 8k ahead for TNC. It's not really a huge difference, but there you go, 9k now. They're just utilizing the map a little bit better, getting all the bounty runes now as well. 13 minutes in, constricting them inside of their base. And these items that Liquid has just purchased, like a BKB on Koikwa, you want to be fighting with them, you want to be getting some pickoffs, but you can't.
Tim's being nuked down a little bit. Mickey's thinking about going in. He's going to turn into the Disrupt to use the Thunder Strike. Now it turns towards Armel. The Fisher not there in time. Armel's able to blink away the stolen glimpse used by Mickey to trap Tim's in. He'll drop the stats off himself, but already they've killed off the Disruptor. Boxy's going to roll forward for more. Armel tried to go forward, but a quick disarm from Insania stops him from being able to have a go onto the Shaker.
That's a really good play there by Mickey. He turned into the Disruptor, he held that Thunder Strike on him for vision, then used the Glimpse to kill him off. Also dodged the Static Storm with the waveform. Really quick thinking, and overall they can't really get any better picks than that Disruptor. If he's out of position, caught, warding, or trying to catch someone, perhaps you can kill him. The rest of them, they're too big.
Still yet to break towards the high ground though, TNC. Liquid able to maintain this sort of control that's buying them more and more time. The pressure is always going to be there for Mickey to try and carry this one through as the Morph. It's a solid Morph game, but it's not easy at all when he's playing from behind as he is. He continues to get in the big items. He's 3,200 in towards having that Satanic.
Yeah, Titan Sliver as well, Satanic plus Titan Sliver, that's going to help him quite a lot when it comes to that status resistance. The problem is TNC, they're slowly moving towards that Aghanims on Disruptor, and he doesn't care about the status resistance. That Static Storm is still going to have that full duration and full damage on him.
Just trying their best to push out the waves. Make sure that they're not stuck in a situation where TNC have all three going in towards the high ground.
They're doing a really decent job. You can see also Taiga always following Koikwa. In case that someone initiates on top of him, they can follow up with the Shaker and perhaps even get a counter kill. These two are a tandem that works really well together when it comes to out-pushing these lanes and creating some space for Mickey so that he can get towards that Satanic, because as you mentioned before, Morphling counters Nyx later on in the game, definitely, but he needs to be ahead, and he's 3k behind at the moment.
And there's going to be a lot of scary catch from TNC. You can see Gabby, Abyssal Blade's done. Armel was queuing up the Hex. He had a lot of money into it. So that Hex is almost certainly going to be done for the TA by the next time a full fight kicks off. And as if TNC don't look for one a little sooner, actually, as TNC got nearly 4 of them here. Heading towards the outpost. Gabby leading the way at the back of the smoke. The smoke will dispel. He knows that they're in there. He's going to pop the rage. Quickly, Mickey responds. Turns into the Lightstealer, takes the rage himself, and Liquid will get out of there. They do not want to mess with TNC outside of their base.
They were hoping maybe one hero moves in, and that's not a hero that's not an Ix, and then perhaps they can pounce on him. But when you see an Ix coming out of smoke the way he did, instantly turning on rage, they understand there's more heroes and they bail.
Back to the high ground for now for Mickey. Boxy
He's so afraid. You can see, even if he gets right outside of his doorsteps, right, he needs to pop that rage. He's just afraid of the Disruptor. He's afraid of this catch, and partly because he has no BKB, he has no Lincolns, and now there's a Hex that you just mentioned as well on Gabby.
If either Gabby or Armel gets that catch, it's all going to be on Insania's positioning to make sure that that kill is not an easy one for TNC at the moment. Insania just standing inside the base, being there to back up Mickey if Mickey gets dove upon, but TNC, they're out on the map. They're hunting for targets around. Koifa, BKB and a TP out, will save him. There's nothing to go through it as of yet. The Abyssal Blade would have done it, but Gabby couldn't quite get in range.
He was really close with that Abyssal Blade, but not close enough. Boxy, he has nothing to dodge this glimpse with.
It's the Static Storm. Armel's in as well. He'll try for the TP. The miss and the miss and the miss. There's a fair few uphill misses right there as Boxy.
Those misses.
The high ground saves him. He's out of there, as you say, the Halberd, it does it. He's away.
Halberd and the high ground as well.
He just couldn't land those hits, Armel.
Yeah, he also played it really well. When you're playing versus Disruptor in a situation such as that one, you can't run away a lot, because if you run too far away, he will glimpse you and have enough time to turn on that Static Storm with the kinetic field.
Koifa, he's hiding, he's juking. They haven't quite caught on to where he is. He's going for the TP out. Do they see him in time? They don't. Koifa able to sneak away in the trees.
This is what he has to be doing, and he's doing it phenomenally well. You can see that TNC, they're not finding any ways of breaching or even reaching high ground. And that's because of the way Mickey and Koikwa are splitting up the map, constantly ratting, constantly making them move and try to get these pickoffs, which
Tiger,
they're failing at.
He wants to try and punish Tims. Tims was trying to push out low, and Glimpse back will do it, but there we have, again, Mickey turns into the Disruptor, uses his own Glimpse against him. KP isn't in time to help out. Koifa still trying to commit for this. Does commit with the stun. They're going in, they quick zip forward with the swashbuckle. They'll cut down Tims, the Disruptor, gone for 50 seconds. TNC unable to turn the fight despite bringing in the team here to look for an opportunity.
Can they fight though?
Still try something. There's a jump forward. There, the Abyssal, they're in onto Insania. The focus priority is perfect. As the Oracle is taken away, there's no safety now for the rest of the team. Mickey, he's got to be very careful. He's trying to turn, go towards March, but March is pretty tanky and too tanky for Mickey to kill immediately. Buyback, Tiger in with a two-man slam. Has they got the follow-up? The Fisher is in and out. No, Gabby and Armel are still alive. Armel's falling low. The Thunder's right, taking him down. He's stunned up again. The enchant zone of Tiger offering a lot of control, but Armel's backing away. Blink out, Armel is fine. Buyback now for Tims. They're looking to commit everything into this fight. TNC, they're surrounded, making the Static Storm. Tims with the buyback controls the Morphling. He's still alive though, making the safety play from Insania, giving him that magic resistance. As the Morph, he's going for the TP out. He's going to make it away. Insania will fall, but that buyback from Insania, giving that safety. Mickey gets out. The rest of Liquid will escape.
What an insane team fight. What this Abaddon, man. If he wasn't there with that Aghanim's with his ulti turned on, Armel falls, Nikes as well, most certainly, but because he runs in that way, he saves both of them. Also Boxy, preventing them from taking down Morphling super easily, just by rolling through them. Nikes had to infest the TA. You can see it right here. He goes into Armel because of Boxy. He's afraid. Boxy is controlling the TA and all of them in the background. Man, this Pango player is ridiculously good. Then you have the Disruptor buyback, you have Insania buyback. Both of them reach this fight. They use their ultis and have a lot of impact. I believe Insania saves Morphling, Disruptor as well, separates this fight in two with his Static Storm. Just, I don't know.
It's all plays here from both teams, committing everything in this attempt to keep each other safe. Back in though, whoa! Oh!
The Hex.
I mean, the double Hex, they've got two right now on KP and Armel.
One didn't work the last fight, buy two.
I mean, Mickey, he's not got buyback. He's 100 gold short. So this is a big 70-second window for TNC to push in, and they do push fast, of course, between Gabby and Armel.
They push
They take towers quickly.
Oh, there's the repair kit. That's something. Right. Is it enough?
They
I don't think so.
Much damage though, TNC. They're fighting through it. There is a fortification. This is a pretty grim 50 seconds though that Liquid's going to try and hold on. The first Hex used. Boxy, he's trying to roll away. He's been silenced. Insania's there with the backup, keeping him safe, healing him back up. Swashbuckle go across, looking for the disarm, but they're in the Abyssal Blade. He's still fine. It's very hard to go on anyone with Insania being alive. As long as Oracle lives, it's hard for TNC to kill the cores.
Rush is up, and that's the third rush as well. I think it's much, much safer, much more disciplined for TNC to go back, take the Shrine, perhaps go into the Rosh pit. But they will fight them. They have a really good team fight around that Roshan. Remember, Boxy and the hero itself, this Pangolier, is one of the best heroes to have in the pit. So if they're not careful, things can turn. 10 seconds for Morphling.
I mean, they've got to move so quickly. Look at TNC.
It's already gone.
They take this in a matter of seconds. No way that Liquid can get here in time. See which way the blessing is going to go.
Who got it?
Who did get it? Where have we got it? Wait,
who took it?
Where did it go?
Abba already had his, so it's not him. Oh, of course.
I didn't even see Tim's there pick it up, but yeah, Tim's has it. Tim's now with a free Aghanim Static Storm, another thing to really throw a spanner into the works. You saw last time the option to use like the E-Blades, the BKBs, it's not going to be there.
The E-Blade, most importantly, it was saving him so many times in a row on that Morphling. He was also saving his teammates, and now there's a blink, there's a glimmer on Disruptor, and plus that Aghanim Scepter. They must know though. They understand this is happening, but what can they do? They have Oracle. Insania has to have an insane game right now. He has to have an insane game sense and positioning. He needs to be completely back, and he needs to think about how he's going to be able to save the target that's static stormed.
Well, we saw Insania keep his cooling in game one as the Oracle and make these game-winning saves happen.
It's such a harder game, though.
It really is. The difficulty has been amped up immensely, especially with TNC now having this 20k lead. All the benefits of that Roshan kill as well, ready to gear them towards this next fight that they'll certainly want to look for.
DK is going for that tilt rapier. Guys, you're not doing anything. I need to carry this myself. I'm getting that rapier. I mean, I can't blame him. It really looks like in these team fights, he's the only one dishing any sort of damage because everything else gets negated by this Abaddon. He moves in with his Aghanims versus his Slash. He literally just stands next to Leshrac and keeps on spamming that.
Firing the miscoils out. Yeah, that extra little bit of burst heal. Combined with obviously the auras and the fact that March on this chair himself, he offers so much burst save as well.
I like the idea from Liquid, but I think it's coming late because TNC is so close to their base and creeps are pushing in. They want to go towards the top lane. They want to go around that tier 2, but it's not going to work. They're already here.
He's going to go in. He's ready to jump on a target with that Abyssal Blade, seeing if he can find anyone. KP shows in the mid lane. They're pushing in the 2 lanes at the same time. The space is there for Armel to start going onto the racks. Liquid's got to do something quicker. They want to put a stop to it. They get the disarm. Gabby, he jumps in, Abyssal Blade onto Boxy. Boxy's pretty tanky though with the shield crash buff and the safety of Insania as Boxy's fine. Revs up the Rolling Thunder. He cancels it for now. They'll wait out the rage of Gabby as TNC back off. They don't get the racks for now. Another use of the repair kit starts to heal the melee back up.
I'm just looking at Tims. I'm just waiting for Tims to pounce. That's all. Whatever TNC is doing when they are pushing high ground, it's all a distraction. You just have to keep in mind there's always this Disruptor in the background, ready and waiting with the Blink Dagger, with the Glimpse. He should have enough time to just jump in and catch them off guard, especially with that Blinks plus Glimmer game.
Walking in aggressively, they do manage to separate them. The Fisher will block them off. Gabby's going to look to commit, jumps over the wall with the Abyssal Blade onto Quaitfa. Insania, he's used the false promise to try and help his Leshrac out, but already Quaitfa's taking a hell of a lot of damage. Have they got the heals to keep him safe? They should, though they haven't. It's not enough heals. Quaitfa still falls. He's got a buyback. See if he wants to use it. Boxy hitting them all with the Thunder, trying to slow them down. Another Fisher from Tiger. It makes it a little harder for TNC to reach the melee racks. They'll turn their attention towards Mickey, turning into the Lifestealer, utilize the wounds and the rage to punch back, but they cannot force them back off. These racks will fall. TNC, they claim one full set. They're ready to move on to the other. Quaitfa, he's going to have to buy back by the looks of it. There's now Boxy.
Tims, he's Limmered.
He's looking for that jump. He's looking for that static zone. There it is. He's in. He catches the Morphling. Morphling being sent though. Insania with the magic resistance helping him out. And zip back into the Hex. Can they save the Morphling? Cannot. Mickey will go down as well. Both cores dead. They've got buybacks available. Liquid. They're trying to rely. This is their last repair kit charge. There's the buyback from Quake. But Boxy continues to try and play around with the whole lineup of TNCs, trying to protect Mickey's buyback. But the pushing power of TNC is too much. The tier 3's down. Hex onto Quaitfa. Again, another save. Insania trying his best. Tigers goes for the echo, but it's not enough because the rage was out in time for Gabby. Gabby's ready to turn. Bash out onto Quaitfa. Quaitfa needs help, but he needs it now. BKB and yours up. Armel's on top, and then Quaitfa falling like the false promise again. Insania saves saves the ledge. They turn the buybacks out for Tiger. He's in for Mickey. He nukes down the Aegis. Armel's dead the one. Gabby back up with the Abyssal. He's on Insania. The ghost step to Insania's able to step away. Gabby's in on the front of it all. The rolling thunder from Boxy is going to come round again. Will clip onto the KP about, and Gabby's out with that long duration of rage. As Boxy, he jumps in, another disarm onto the Lifestealer. Tiger
four-man Fisher.
The slap, he's looking for KP, but inside the Lifestealer goes, taking KP back to safety. A root, a jump, Tiger in with his chance, but they turn onto Tiger. Boxy in trouble as well. Quake's trying to head in, but they've lost Tiger. He's dead without buyback. Quake's
no buyback.
as well, dead for 2 minutes. They're down to the last 3 Liquid as Mickey. He's backing off. The Abyssal, the Static Storm tips again.
GG.
And that is it for game 2. GG is called. And TNC will equalize the series 1-1 now.
What an insane performance and what an insane series this is turning out to be. That first game, Liquid, they just crushed them with their own strategy, with their own style, and TNC just did exactly the same to Liquid in the second game.
It was always going to be hard for Liquid that game from the start. Armel, just an absolute beast. He just grew to an immense size off the back of that laning stage. It was so hard for them to deal with the power of the TA. They tried their best, Liquid. You saw Insania doing so many clutch plays to keep the game going with these constant saves as the Oracle, but it wasn't enough. TNC just too far ahead for the
It was such a difficult game for them. It was such a difficult game for them, but they stayed cool until the end. And the way Taiga played these last couple of defenses, Liquid, the way they played these defenses in the end, just makes me think that they truly are a top tier team. The way Morphing was saving that buyback until they dove on the tier 4s, and Taiga separates them with a really, really good fissure multiple times in a row. I'm just amazed, and I'm looking forward to the game 3.
But it wasn't enough. TNC just that much of a step ahead in this game. Their all 3 core performances fantastic. KP, he was so farm. The itemization, getting these hexes, Abyssal Blades. TNC knew exactly what to do to smash Liquid in the game, this second game, and they certainly did. It's fantastic, of course, for us viewers. Does mean we are going to get that decisive game 3 now between TNC and Liquid. Who's going to take it? It's hard to tell after that dominating game from Liquid in game 1, but that heads up just domination from the lanes onwards from TNC in game 2. Game 3, it's going to be crazy. Don't go anywhere. We'll have it soon for you.
Mysterious shadow sightings all around the city. According to experts, the origin of these shadows is
It's time! Are you ready, Birmingham?
They've got the control of this fight, and they've got EG down calling TG. It's done. Team Secret. In 5 games, ESL won grand finals here at Birmingham, going ahead of Virtus Pro.
Turn the speakers up. 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 Turn the speakers up.
I just came in here to party, hope the party never stops. I'll be sipping on tequila and Bacardi till I drop. I'm not leaving till it's over, I'm not looking at my watch. I just came in here to party, hope the party never stops.
Party all day, party all night. I just wanna party for the rest of my life.
Monday in New York and Tuesday in Cuba. Wednesday I beat for Thursday Bermuda. Friday Miami and Saturday London. Sunday I'm not sure but I'll think of something.
Flashing lights, flashing lights. Can you see the flashing lights? All the flashing
rest of my life. Party all day, party all night. I just wanna party for the rest of my life. I just came in here to party, hope the party never stops. I'll be sipping on tequila and Bacardi till I drop. I'm not leaving till it's over. I'm not looking at my watch. I just came in here.
They said it was a free morph game. That's what I heard from my panel. I don't know if they were really right. Before we get into this game, though, and to discuss this second game of the series, I first have something to say to all you guys here in Leipzig. In about, let's
Get
see
out.
time, in 7 minutes. No,
The venue's closed, St. Louis League.
No, in 7 minutes, Secret will have a signing session and the signing place on that side. So just so you guys know where to go. And we're going to break down TNC versus Liquid Game 2 because that game, you know, I went in thinking, okay, you know what, we've seen it before. We've seen Mickey carry on the morph, and that's going to happen again because it was the same quote, free morph game.
Yes.
It didn't play out that way, though.
It wasn't. It was the standard TNC aggression. I guess we misplayed it. And the lack of no disables, I don't know. We just never really saw the problem with it, right? Tim's kept getting these great glimpses, and they just took over the laning phase and never let go.
Yeah, if you're godlike enough disruptor, you can kind of cover over that with clutch static storms, kinetic fields, and glimpses. They're all disables in their own way. But he also, like, I felt like a lot of times he was positioned very well where he wasn't initiated on first. And in general, like TNC, as we kind of like alluded to at the start of the draft, was that TNC can just focus on their own game, and they don't necessarily have to look at Liquid heroes and try and counter them so much. They just built up, falled forward, and built, you know, like taking team fights with a 5K advantage, win that team fight, 8K advantage for the next team fight, and so on and so forth until you had, what was it, 20, 25K or something like that towards the end of the game?
Yep, they played, I really liked the way they played their aggression, and I kind of did overlook just the, something I used to always point out with Chen is these heal factors. Because the way Divine Favor works, and then we see the build that KP goes with that first item, Aghanims, that Divine Favor plus these miscoils being thrown out constantly whenever you're trying to go on a target, there was just so much sustain. I think this is there's like a couple fights that we saw where it was literally just like Armel's full health. Life stealing so much, and then there's miscoils and shields flying out as well. And it did seem like Liquid just lacked the damage in order to be able to actually go for anything. So they didn't need control on TNC because they were just barreling through with full HP heroes.
Yeah, and I think for me, I don't think you can put Koikva in that bad of a matchup against someone like Armel, because I consider Armel the best player out of these 10 players, and you put him in an already losing matchup, and that TA never fell behind, succeeded in every single gank. I don't know. I just think you got to put Koikva on something a little bit better.
Going back to the bad note, I think what was really cool, what I like about this change is that you can actually interact with the miscoil. Remember when the Abaddon Aghanim Scepter was just like, he takes a percentage of the damage away? Well, here with this healing factor, right, it's very similar. You have 525 damage taken, therefore you get anywhere from 250 to 315 HP heal. So it's very similar in the percentage-wise, but when you couple it in the right synergy, right, all of a sudden a Chen is amplifying that heals. Pretty much like 4/5 of the damage are being taken away.
Yeah, I feel like there's damage also on this lineup with Liquid. You're not going to be able to control, like, hey, we're a single target, we're only, or something like that. There's damage going to be spread out everywhere. So this Abaddon is just going to start firing out these miscalls. And we saw it, that top jungle fight in particular, where it was, 5, 6 missed coils ended up going on a TA.
4 missed coils, and she casted 2 as well. So 7 missed coils on a TA.
And heroes like TA and Lifestealer take advantage of that, right? Because they have these moments of weakness where a TA's refraction is down or a Lifestealer's rage is down. But you just get them through that small little window of time, they're going to have the next round up, they'll be ready to fight.
Absolutely, that's a good point.
I feel like when we had the minor finals and everything leading up to the major after that and the group stages as well, coming to this point, I feel like we're coming to sustain very often. It often goes back to, okay, IO. The reason why IO is strong is because it offers great sustain. Omni Knight, offlaner, great sustain.
Treant.
And we saw I don't know, I feel like we saw Abaddon kind of fall out of favor a little bit. Or at least all of a sudden we saw Legion Commanders picked up and all that, with Abaddon's just ignored. And I feel like KP is just making a great case as to why Abaddon should be picked or banned first phase.
Yeah, I mean, one hero, Slark, right? Slark doesn't mind just hitting you a lot. And the fact they couldn't pick a Slark in that game made it a lot better as well. That's kind of how I looked at it.
I would say, for me, KP is the MVP. But what did Twitch chat say for the MVP? Can we get a drum roll, please? The MVP is... Yes, thank you. It is KP. Armel and Tim's, you know, they're sharing second place. Overall, though, TNC, this is the TNC that we're used to seeing. I don't know why it only shows up when they're like one game away from getting eliminated, though.
The pressure, right? I guess then pressure makes diamonds, my friend.
Absolutely.
That's true.
TNC looking in their best form, just on the brink of elimination. Now they're still in that, going into game 3. They've got the momentum from game 2 and a win as well. I honestly felt like after game 1 and how the draft was set up and how Liquid won, I was a little bit stumped at how TNC was going to be able to find those openings.
Agreed.
We were, especially when we were talking about like, oh, they can't pick Slark, they can't pick Phantom Lancer. So it's really impressive. It goes to show the TNC depth that they have. This may not be their best meta, but they're growing into it.
They really are. And going forward to the third game, I mean, TNC is looking hot. They have momentum. And what about Liquid? How are they going to improve? Because they thought, you know, you pick this morph.
And it's free.
Free morph game. And they didn't win with it. But again, they didn't even get a lead in that game at all. And normally what we have seen from Liquid, their struggle is not getting a lead, because they do get that. Their struggle is closing out later on. How do they fix that problem?
I think what Grant pointed out was the biggest thing for me, at least. Sure, they had these like free morph game and all that, but like I think address lanes a little bit more while you're also addressing this like game that you can actually always be able to carry if you make it to the later stages. Like you said, putting Koikfa in that disadvantageous matchup. Top also, it's a Pangolier, so the lane also isn't the greatest either. They did have weak lanes in comparison. Oracle, Morphling, these two laners aren't the strongest. I think that's the biggest thing that TNC really capitalized and took advantage of.
All right, that's a clear, straightforward answer. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in game number 3, but you know the drill. We'll be right back.
Rick Gaming Esports, professional esports housemaker.
between TNC and Liquid, elimination on the line. Both of these teams, no stranger to being one game away from elimination, and both teams have shown that when that is the case, they come out of the gate swinging. Swimming would be bad. Swinging, however,
is pretty good. So what you're saying is both teams are going to win, Shiver.
No, I'm saying the better team is going to win, but it's going to be an exciting game, though. Yes. I think it's going to be aggression. That's what these two teams thrive on.
I agree, and I think we just said it best in get better lanes. You don't have to out-aggressive them, but you want to at least be able to keep up. They were just on the back foot the entire game. They never played their own game, which you're never going to win Dota that way.
Yeah, I mean, they had what? It was a... It was like a 4 stun draft versus just a disruptor, really, to bring them back until the item started coming TNC. And they got destroyed just because, Oracle Morphling, not a strong lane. Lashrak versus TA, not the strongest lane. Yeah, so I think biggest thing, at least for me, to address for Liquid would be just a little bit stronger laning factor if you are going to go for this draft.
I wanted to check out the stat of one hero specifically for this tournament. Disruptor, the 3rd most picked and banned, pretty much just missing from like 1, maybe 2 drafts, something like that. And has been picked 30 times, 70% win rate.
70?
Come on. 70% win rate.
That's
pretty good. That is exceptionally high.
Yeah.
What about with Aghanims, right? Like it's like
God. If you get an Aghanim Scepter, I'm sure it just shoots up to like 90%.
He got a free one from Roche last game, right?
I believe so, right? Yeah. I think so, because he just had it eaten right after I think they did the 3rd Roche. So yeah, I think he got blessed with that Aghanim's blessing.
Thank you. They banned the Abba, so they're with you, Shiver. They really think that Abba was a big issue.
And he just ran at the Morphling, laning phase, and then later on too. It was really well played by KP and the boys.
Yeah, but another offlaner that has a very high win rate, 61% for Omni Knight out of 18 games. So I'm sure TNC, again, they like to be able to give KP a little bit of solo, allow Tims to be able to rotate. Omni Knight's one of those heroes that can enable that playstyle.
Yeah, and one of those heroes that we've seen banned most of the time, so still in the pool is definitely, it's a freebie for TNC, unless Liquid has a plan against it.
Yeah, because if you take Doom here, you know they're very likely to pick up Oracle, right?
Do they take
let's just take Omni Knight. Are they still going to pick Oracle against Omni, though? Oh, Timbersaw.
Wow.
That's a hero we were seeing getting first banned in the group stage versus him in the 2nd phase, but
it is in the top 10 of heroes picked and banned. Only picked 4 times at this event. You will never see it because it's always banned in the second phase. So Liquid's like, well, let's upgrade it.
I like it. Earthshaker, Omni. But you are opening with probably 2 of your cores. I don't think Liquid plays Leshrac support, right?
I'm
sure Taiga
don't think so, but I'm sure Taiga could.
Yeah.
We used to see some teams do it, but it's not reliable, right? Like your stun's unreliable, and I know Kyle's probably back there like, oh, yes, I hope Leshrac support, because I know Kyle's like in love with that hero, but Timber opener though. I mean, versus Omni Knight versus Earthshaker, you're gonna have damage to be able to deal with the heroes, to be able to deal with the sustain that comes out from Omni Knight.
I'm just always worried about picking 2 cores if it isn't that Leshrac in the first phase. I mean, we saw Beastcoast go out by doing that. Just kind of showing the entirety of your draft and your win condition so early. I don't think this is our win condition, but...
Does Liquid have... does Quickfight play Timber for Liquid as well? Or is it only Boxy?
I've only seen Boxy.
I've only seen Boxy in a long time, at least.
Okay, because normally it's also Lesh is a core for Boxy as well, so they keep those options open. But yeah, if that Timber is just Boxy's, then...
I believe so.
Mickey plays the Lash at least, though, so it is going to be... It's one of the... Yeah, it's Koikfer, Mickey, or if they do want to change it up that much for the Lash support, but... Yeah, I mean, very interesting to see this. I've not got... like you said, we haven't seen Timber much, and a lot of times I just think, I'm like, how much does Timber really give you? Because once you get to later stages of the game, the hero will start to fall off. Be it Spirit Vessels or just your straight-up physical damage. I like this. You need to ban... you have to ban Rubik. You have Omni Knight or Shaker. It's way too good. That's why I thought Liquid might actually just take the Rubik with Leshrac instead of Timber.
Yeah, they could have.
Over the last year, Koifa has played 26 games of Timbersaw, but his last game was 10 minutes ago. So we're almost guaranteed that's going to be a Boxy hero, I think.
Wait, did you say 10 minutes ago?
10 months ago.
Yeah, he just played a pub out back.
Yeah, he's like 10 minutes.
He's warming up.
He was just
hero mode,
prepping it, I don't know.
He learned from Rich Campbell, got to showcase the heroes before you play them.
I was already so confused because I really heard 10 minutes. It's like, what?
So what's going on? Why aren't we seeing any 5s picked up in the first phase? What happened to Lich? That hero was the most picked hero in like the group stage, and now where are we?
Well, right now,
Winter
Lich doesn't-
Wyvern.
Yeah, Wyvern is one of those that I think, man, it seems a little team specific still for the Wyvern, but Lich right now doesn't like, what do you do? Like Lich is like, oh, look at all this magic damage.
Yeah. and then Wyvern, it's like these are low damage physical damage heroes, and like so Leshrac and Timbersaw they're not going to hurt anybody on their allies' side, and then Omni Knight has a counter to Winter Wyvern. Okay. I actually think Oracle is a much more likely pickup with Liquid because it's so good with Timbersaw and Leshrac. Both those heroes thrive off of that. And you have a Purge against Omni Knight. So that's kind of good too.
Yeah, at least one. Yeah, for one small thing, for sure. But it does weaken your lanes. That's one thing. Is like Lich, you're not countering what they have, but you're going to make your lanes amazing. Like Lich is always just going to be safe lane secured.
Let's see, what do we want for these teams for the second phase of picks? The Ancient Apparition ban.
That
and the
makes
Slot ban.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, instant.
Because you could see how like an AA Void would be really good against this lineup with Omni Slark. And you've got Leshrac Timbersaw to throw damage inside of Chrono. It would be really good.
They ran this earlier, I think it was yesterday, 2 days ago, when they had the IO Omni Slark. And this Slark was immortal, literally immortal. And now we're seeing a Slark versus a Timbersaw. I love this Slark pick. Even though Leshrac can be pretty good versus a Slark, it's like Timber, this is his worst nightmare.
You do have, like, both of you do have AoE damage, so Liquid, if they take control of the game early, then Slark will feel bad about going into fights until he has BKB. But once the game's even, then Slark just goes on a rampage against these guys.
And he'll be graced. That's the thing, is in a lot of the fights, he'll be heavenly graced up, so he's not going to have to worry about at least getting disabled up as long inside of any of
So do you just want to, if you're Liquid, then just try to body him in lane? If you're like worried about this mid-game Omni Slark, you just try to shut him down?
Perhaps,
and if you do, like, what do you get? Like something like a Bane, like an actual lane dominator, or?
I'm still okay with, like, I think Lich could even still work.
It feels like TNC might take that Lich if you don't, and then they secure that lane.
I do, I think if you don't take it on Liquid, TNC would definitely like to grab that one up. Even though it doesn't counteract any of the damage, it's just, it's the lane secure.
Crystal Main's really good for Liquid's team. And we've seen, who drafted it the other day against Slark specifically? Because they're like, oh, let's
I believe
a bunch
it was
of AoE damage.
DJ playing it, right?
Yeah, that's right, it was. That's right.
That's when he died.
He died twice to level on Slark.
Yeah.
The Orb of Venom, they got it. Like, they got first blood, he got an Orb of Venom, DJ went back to lane, died, and then he died 6 more times in the game. He ended 0 and 8 or something.
They do the Oracle. They just go with what works for them. So, wow, 3 Oracle games in a BO3. Don't see that often.
No. Interesting. It's pretty good with the Lesh though, always, right? Because you're gonna be able to add a type of setup for your Leshrac also to get the stuns off in laning phase. But does weaken your lane. That's always the thing.
They've been finding great success with the Oracle. This will be Insania's 5th Oracle game in a row.
All right. They do with what they did. Now you secure your lanes even more with this Chen, because as you say, you just wrap him around.
Dude, this Slark's heal, all right, they had to get like a hard counter to Slark because he's got Chen heal, amplification, and Omni Knight. Like, Heavy the Grace regen's buffed up, Shatter Dance is buffed up, Purification's buffed up. Like, that's so much.
Oh, this is
wasn't this the exact thing that was picked last time versus the Omni Slark?
Yeah.
And then because it's right, the Enigma is the counter, that, like, quote unquote, is the counter that teams used to talk about versus Omni Knight, because it's so good versus GA. You have all this magic damage. Same thing versus Slark. You're gonna hold him in place. You can't dark pact it off. But we did see the Slark Omni Knight versus this Enigma last